who claims that if they contradict the Buddha, then they know better than him is suspicious. And not that he's ever directly claimed that, but when you say something that runs counter to what we have as the historical Buddha's actual words, my eyes always open with skepticism and I investigate, because two options have happened in that scenario. Either I just don't understand and therefore can't see that what they're teaching is the same, or the person making the claim that differs from the Buddha does not understand.
Right, but it's more likely that you don't understand, right?
Oh, yes, of course. That is why I do extensive analysis and go to other teachers and ask them questions, people who I respect. And then I draw a conclusion from there. So in Ajahn Sumedho's case, his teachings are very much aligned. I spent 2 years with the Chinese Buddhist group from Master Sheng Yen. His teachings are very much aligned with what they would teach, but their teachings are not aligned with much of what Nyanamoli or Ajahn Punadama would teach, for example.
Well, what Ajahn Yanamoli would seem to say is, like he says pretty extreme things, like unless you're a Sotapanna, you can't even practice the Eightfold Path. So to extrapolate that or like add on to that, how little a Bhatujana would be able to determine like what right Dhamma is.
Well, that's one of the things where, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes he says things that are a little on the extreme side, because the Buddha laid out the instructions very clearly on how to tell who was teaching in accordance with the Dharma and how to practice. So I would disagree with that notion. Maybe you don't know, like maybe if you're a Puthajjana, the whole point is like, well, you don't know the specific whatever it is that the fruit of the Sotapanna allows them to understand, but you have the instructions. They're right there, plain in the EBTs. You just read it, do the work, contemplate the contemplations. And the Buddha said, if you do this perfectly with perfect mindfulness in 7 days, 7 years, or 7 lifetimes, the result will come. So I don't agree with that.
I just want to clarify something. I mean, you're welcome to disagree with Ajahn Yanamoli. That's not quite what he means. So
Well,
it's sort of circular, right? So like they define a Sotapanna as someone who understands the Four Noble Truths and is walking a wayful path. So if you don't know the Four Noble Truths, you're kind of like approximating the path. And then once you figure it out, then you understand you're walking the path, and then you're Sotapanna. So that's more like the distinction.
Okay, I mean, if that's what they're claiming a Sotapanna is, someone who's read the Four Noble Truths and then read the Eightfold Path, then sure, by that definition, I guess we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, so that's why the way that I feel about it is that the the kind of like Reddit Buddhism and like literally or like the same sound like the Reddit Buddhism, like reading it Buddhism is kind of like totally doesn't work. And I look to these like traditions of I don't know if you're familiar, but like Mastering the Core Teachings of the Buddha by Daniel Ingram, and the whole like stream entry Kuldasa movement. And at least as far as I've seen in being in online spaces and talking to people on Reddit and things like that, I don't find many like enlightened characters out there. I find a lot more people who would consider themselves to be enlightened but actually don't have much like what I would think is real realization, how it seems. And then I look at like this difference between like where did these suttas come from, which they came from like this lived experience of being around the Buddha and arahats and anagamis and sakyagamis and sotapannas who actually could see you and hear you and talk to you and like work with you, and how bad of a replacement just text is for that. So I find that it's almost like the becoming a monk or going into the monastic framework, which I have experienced. It's very much so about like this intense, deep challenging of this notion of self, and this practical immersion that basically like clearly eviscerates all of this privilege that one has, and that is able to like build up this identity of understanding the Dharma. And I've found in certain conversations with people, like this makes people very inequipped to actually be challenged and to go into deeper principles and practices and deeper looking or questioning about what the Dhamma is and what that might mean for an individual practitioner. You know, like it's a lot easier to kind of take the bait or get hooked into some path of practice and belief about that path of practice being correct versus being challenged. And like from my experience as a monk, it's much more about like just being destitute and like being challenged by the self and the ego inside and having to do that internal work, and not so much like being able to think about it in the right way. So the way that I approach it is I listen to Dharma masters, I listen to, senior monks and stuff, and I just try to take their teachings and their practice as a meditation, and then I try to go in that direction as well. But I don't use my intellectual framework or mind to justify what I'm doing, to like be definitely correct or definitely incorrect. That's one of the things that I like about Ajahn Nyanamoli, when he says like there's Patujanas and there's Aryas. There are people who have right view and there's people who don't. And so it's like I want to find someone who has right view and I just want to listen and practice with them. But in the face of their right view, like I'm just going to be wrong all the time. So there's no food for my ego in that. There's no food for myself in that.
How do you identify someone with that? What is your criteria?
I think at the beginning it was more of just like seeking and searching, and then it was according to my merit, whether I came across like real Dharma teachers or like fraud artists or whatever, like it's just according to merit. And then as time goes by, like I found maybe a sense of, there's something inexplicable, like there's something not graspable about their position or their way of being. Like their teaching is always outside of my intellectual understanding. And that if I do intellectually understand something about their teaching, then that's either not what they're talking about or teaching now, or it's just a means for me to practice. It's not like something for me to grasp onto and then believe in. It's almost like their teaching is a constant challenging of my wrong view, either through like the way that they live and the way that their presence, or what their teaching is. So that's what I see about Ajahn Sumedho. That's why I brought him up, because like he wasn't saying that to a bunch of people who want to get enlightened. He was saying that like in one of the highest, most highly regarded and largest Ajahn Chah monasteries in the world that he runs up there in England, Amaravati. So it's like telling the monks at Amaravati that you cannot become a Sotapanna, you cannot become enlightened. And for me, and I don't know if we're equipped to go deeper into that, but that seems to be like the crux of this Sakya Ditti. This eradication of this fetter of the belief in this independent self or soul or I within the five aggregates. So
I mean, when you explain it like that, it clearly fits in with the teachings. I guess I suppose he has his reasons, and he knows those monks, as you just said. He probably had a very specific reason for telling him that. But the reason for my skepticism in this regard, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I respect him and I would love to be proven otherwise, but the Buddha admonished the monks for talking in riddles and pretending like conventional language didn't apply to personhood. So unless it was just to like motivate them and be like, look, where you're going, you have to leave you behind. It just seems more like it just doesn't jive with the direct approach that is in the EBTs from my, reading.
Well, it would be a riddle. Everything Dhammic would be a riddle to someone who doesn't have right view. So the nature of the Buddha not speaking in riddles to people was him revealing to them right view. So, I mean, I think that's a problem for can be a problem for a lot of Dhamma practitioners, is this idea that they do get it or they do understand it intellectually, and somehow that's going to work out for them. Whereas, like, if they don't have right view, then they don't get it. They don't understand it. They're still seeing from this wrong view of someone or self. So my main teacher is a monk from Myanmar called Sayadaw Tamatara. And he's always teaching to meditate on non-self. So to meditate on impermanence, or to meditate as not someone. And so, like, if you're meditating as on not someone, how can you kind of like create a piggy bank of your meditation and your experiences? It seems to be that that's the confusing point in the whole situation, like this accumulation of your practice or your development. And the real, like, opening the Dhamma eye would be opening the eye of there's not someone who can accumulate wisdom. There's not someone who can accumulate merit and keep it or hold it. That's how I understand the self-view, the Sakyaditi, the ratification of self-view.
Yeah, in Ajahn Sumedho's case, and maybe you can clear this one up, but so the biggest red flag that always made my skeptical mind activate is that he teaches an eternal citta.
Well, the eternal citta in that sense would just be like the unconditioned, right? It'd be nibbana. So in the Abhidhamma, they have the structure where it's like original truth or reality as it is, like original nature, and then it breaks down into the conditioned, which goes into nama, rupa, all these different mental factors. I don't know if you know about Abhidhamma, but it goes into all these different things. And then the other is the unconditioned, which is nibbana. So nibbana is in contrast with samsara, but original truth or reality as it is doesn't have any duality in it. So it's like nibbana is an expedient means or a teaching to help people point out suffering. Say, like, you're suffering, so you can be free from suffering, but in reality or in the original truth, there's neither nibbana or samsara, like emptiness or shunyata, as they say in they emphasize a lot in the Mahayana tradition. Because I also did some retreats with what you were talking about, Sheng Yen, Dharmadram. His book, Footprints in the Snow, actually is what was a big inspiration in inspiring me to become a monk back in 2018.
Oh, that's good.
So I do like his tradition.
Okay, so I've heard what you've said, and I'm just like reflecting on it because there's still this unconditioned and the eternal citta and nibbana. Well, from my understanding of the Dhamma, nibbana is the cessation of suffering, but the unconditioned isn't this eternal citta. The unconditioned is what, like, if you're familiar with the Mahayana, so they often would use terms like the mind ground. But when they would speak of the mind ground, they would speak of something more akin to like what you would experience in like as the people describe in the fourth jhana or the observer, and like they often like use those terms. And for me, I'm like, okay, but we know that consciousness arises dependent on contact. And so would the unconditioned not be one step beyond that? And which is why I'm like, well, the eternal Chitta, unless I'm just misunderstanding what that Pali term means, it seems at odds with my understanding of what the unconditioned is.
Well, I think so two things come to mind. One thing is that if you're generous enough, or if you're humble enough to take a position of like, okay, I'm not an Arya, I'm not a Sotapanna, right? Then by definition, right, you're a Patujana, which means you don't have right view, which means you don't have your Dhamma eye isn't opened. So in that situation, it's according to your merits and blessings to practice, the four factors for stream entry: association with superior people, listening to true Dhamma, wise attention, practicing skillfully. So for you to do that practice, but in terms of your capacity to actually understand the Dhamma, you cannot, because you haven't had that fruition, right? That fruition moment. And then it's just like the question of, okay, how can I focus on practicing more seriously according to my abilities? And then the thing that's coming up strongly is about the Sakya Ditti, or the self view, or the eradication of the self view. So it can seem like a riddle, right, to say like nobody can become enlightened. I can see how that would seem to be a riddle, but by the very simple like structural definition of what a Sotapanna is and what it means to be a stream enterer, is this eradication. It's not about like I believe this way or I don't believe that, but it's this dropping of this fetter of the possibility for belief in this I, or this self, within the five aggregates. So the nihilism would be like denying that anything exists, right? Nothing exists. There's no such thing as anything. Everything's empty. But the Sakya Ditti, or the self view, and the eradication of that is kind of transcendental. So how can, for me, that seems to be like pointing to this fruition moment, right? Like this fruit of the Dhamma, which is saying, well, how could someone realize that there is no self? So it doesn't make sense. And this seems to be a point towards the problem or the suffering of the Patujana, that you can't understand beyond duality, or that you're locked into this dualistic framework of subject, object, self, other, past, future, all that stuff, to where you can't kind of see through the veil of samsara. You can't taste nibbana, right? So a Sotapanna, they say, can taste nibbana. They get a taste of it, right? So they're sure to become enlightened, because clearly, the unconditioned is there.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
But what that has to do with chitta, because chitta is conditioned. It's conditioned by two sankharas. So I totally agree with Frank when red flags are raised when someone says about an eternal chitta, because in the suttas it's clear that there is nothing outside the aggregates. That's it. And not only that, also the Buddha also frames the all, the senses. That's the all. There is nothing. Again, there is nothing outside your experience. So how come chitta is like this almost kind of thing that offers you safety.
Right. Well,
Before we,
sorry,
I just
Jared.
want-
Go
can I say
ahead.
something quick? And before we get in this, I just want to remind people that language is not really like a precise thing. You know, we have words and they point to something, but you know, like when Ajahn Sumedho says chitta, he might be talking about this thing, and when Ajahn Chah says chitta, he's talking about this other thing, and when you say chitta, you're talking about this third thing, and we all think we're saying the same thing, but we're kind of talking about this, we're kind of getting like lost because we don't really know what these other people mean.
Yeah.
So I just want to remember to keep that in mind, and like, and that's also true when reading the suttas, right? Like, you're like, oh yeah, I know what dukkha means. It means suffering. But it's like, well, if I really know what dukkha meant, would I still suffer? Because I wouldn't do these things that cause me to suffer. So maybe I don't understand it. Maybe there's something else that's going on. So I just wanted to mention that.
No, I understand, Jared, that the Buddha does not teach in absolutes. Totally understand that. But it is clear that Nibbana, he repeats over and over, is the end of greed, aversion, delusion. That's it, right? And I also understand that there is that sutta where he says, but there is the undead, there is the unconditioned, right? And it seems like, oh, yeah. And there is also that sutta that talks about the original chitta, that, right, that it is luminous and boundless. And sometimes, like, that is kind of almost inspirational to hear, right? But it's still, most of the suttas still talk like about the aggregate being the totality of your experience. So I think it is dangerous to think that there is something beyond that. I was going to say something, but I think yeah.
Well, so one of the ideas that I've seen brought up about the Patujanas, or people like us who are not enlightened, right, is that everything's kind of in reverse. So what seems good to us is actually bad for us. What seems bad for us is actually good for us. So like you just keep going towards sense pleasure and you keep going away from sense restraint. You keep going towards holding on to the self-view instead of releasing the grasping on the self-view. And in the structure of Buddhism, it seems to be like very, very practical. So I would wonder if the reason that Ajahn Nyanamoli talks about, like, unless if you're a Patujana, you can't even follow the Eightfold Path, is almost to unpack lay people and kind of people who are on the path from fixating onto this intellectual understanding of what the path is, you know, and what's meant by what the teachers say, because pointing to this like specificism of citta and arupa jhana and sati and the kileshas and all these kinds of things. If you were a monk at the best monastery that you could imagine, right? You left your life behind and you went to go and become a monk, and now you're sitting down and like talking about citta and about these different things. Nobody would be taking you, I mean, there wouldn't be any place for that, right? So like there'd be no place for you at any monastery worth its salt for you to be making determinations or creating the practice into this thing of like intellectually understanding what the teacher meant. So it seems like there's some kind of inherent problem that's this almost like this compulsive grasping of the self-view or the ego, the want to understand, that is kind of antithetical to actually seeing the Dhamma and practicing the Dhamma. You know, so it's like the Abhidhamma goes into this breakdown, and you would think that, okay, so the more that it goes from the conditioned and the unconditioned, and nama and rupa, to the mental consciousnesses and the physical consciousness and the aggregates and the different types of the consciousness as pleasant and unpleasant and neutral feeling, it would seem like you're getting more specific as you go down, but actually you're getting less specific. So the most specific is like there's the unconditioned and there's conditioned. There's nama and there's rupa. And everything below that is just kind of, it's like teaching methodologies. You know, it's like, and I want to bring up again, and I'm trying to remove my ego from this as much as possible. I just think that it's like there is some truth in it. And Frank, I'm just going to pull you in as an example. Like Frank, someone who entered the path in 2022, you know, criticizing or critiquing, and of course that's what we have to do, like compare and contrast and see for ourselves. But Ajahn Sumedho, who's like the most senior, the most advanced, like highest monk in the Ajahn Chah tradition, which is by far the most well-respected Theravada, EBT tradition in the entire world, and yet somehow, you know, we're in a position to like critique that instead of just having appreciation and taking refuge in a, you know, arguably one of the most advanced teachers today for the traditional Dhamma, and actually taking refuge in practicing with that. It seems like there's some degree of ridiculousness in that, in approaching it that way.
Yeah, I agree with you actually, and I would hold your exact opinion if the roles were reversed. But the fact of the matter is, from my perspective, that I have to be selective with
Right.
who I listen to. And there are venerables whom I highly regard in the EBT forest tradition, and their teachings and his teachings do not always align, but more specifically, because even those people are just other people commentating. And look, Ajahn Sumedho will be the first person to admit he's not enlightened. He admitted that he has thoughts of wanting to die. And that's not a criticism against him. But we have to be careful with whose words and opinions and views we align our practice with. And that is why the Pali Canon is there to use as a frame of reference and compare. So your critique of me is obviously understandable. I am just some random dude who
No, I don't. I really no, but
I
I don't mean this as a critique of you, Frank. I really mean that. I'm not at all trying to critique
no, I
you.
understand.
It's just
I'm not. No, look. We don't. This isn't. I'm not insulted. The critique is of my view, of my opinion, and you're allowed to critique it. You should critique it and dive into the why. But there, you know, for the others here as well, when you say things like, "Well, I should hold him in revere because of his title," and other things, it's like, okay, but I know what he has said. I know what his mind has said because he has told me what his mind has said. And then I know what other revered monks have said, and I know what the Buddha has said. And so somewhere in there, and I could be the part that's mistaken. I always have to leave room for like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just the dum-dum who's got the giant question mark over the head. But somewhere in this puzzle, there is a teaching that does not actually accord with what the Buddha taught. And so that's why I said I'm skeptical of him, but still respect him. You know, I don't have anything against him.
Me too. I listen to him and I admire him. I read the book that he wrote about Ajahn Chah, and I'm not here criticizing any monastic. I just find when I compare to the suttas, there is something that strikes me as odd. The same thing with Ajahn Mun, that there was another monk this forest monk, who initiated all this, and then Ajahn Mahaboa, they also talk about the Disattorno Citta, which I find fascinating, but I don't understand. So when I read the suttas don't say that. But
yeah, even in the sutta you brought up, the
guys come and say this amazing thing. I'm very curious, but I still tend to believe more on the suttas. I put my belief on the suttas.
Well, they would seem to be talking about this would be my guess or my assumption is they would seem to be talking about the unconditioned in that, right? So that the conditioned is temporary, impermanent, unreliable, not to take refuge in, etc. But the Dhamma, the Nibbana Dhamma, is unconditioned. And so from the self view, it would be considered eternal. You know, everything from the self view would be impermanent except for the unconditioned, which the self doesn't even apply. And what comes to my mind, and I know this can be really problematic looking at it personally, but like as a so like there's two ways to approach it, right? One is the way of a practitioner that I hear from both you, Frank, and Christina, was like trying to apply discernment, trying to understand, trying to be clear about not understanding according to your study and practice of the suttas, right? But then another way is this position of like taking umbrage or taking in like an equal position of authority against like not just a monk at a temple, but like an Arupa Ajahn, you know, like a Lumpal, like an 80-year-old, 90-year-old forest Dhamma master, and taking on this position that your understanding, interpretation, etc., of the suttas is somehow running parallel to theirs, you know, and that's something that you would probably not find much of in the Asian culture where Buddhism has been so successful. You know, this view that if I can read and I can think, that my position might as well be equal to this person's position and understanding, just because I happen to have it. And I think that's where it brings in this energy of like reverence for the Dhamma, reverence for the monks, because it's not just like respecting the monks because they're enlightened, but the monks living in a way that's respectable so that we can have faith to practice that way. You know, because the monks can't give me like the unconditioned. The monks can't give me the Dhamma. The monks can't show me the unconditioned. I have to see that for myself. You know, and it's almost like they're living a life to give this opportunity to actually come and see for oneself. And maybe it doesn't culturally apply so much to us as the Westerners. Like the reverence, this deep revering of them. And then how does that apply to like actually practical application rather than just intellectual discernment, and how as Westerners there's not really a realistic practical application of spirituality culturally. So we have to lean on this intellectual discernment as a way to get to the unconditioned, which is impossible. And then, like Ajahn Nyanamoli saying, unless you're a Sotapanna, you can't even practice the Eightfold Path, which does seem to be a contradiction. And I haven't listened to him enough to see how he explains that or works all that out. That wouldn't seem to make sense.
I think he does not say you can't. He said that the Eighth Noble Path, it would be wrong for you, but does not mean that you should not try. The first thing is virtue, to make yourself a fertile ground for the Dhamma. There is no Dhamma without this first step, and then restraint, and then the path itself. But I don't think that he says don't do it. He says that it would be wrong, because it is not sama for us yet, but does not mean that you should not try to find the way, to find escape. And virtue is the beginning. And because our culture today and our society today is the way it is, where we...
All right, everybody, let's get back to the real business of the Dhamma here. How are you doing this morning, young Shiva Kailash Shambho? You ready to come and stay with Dr. Rob and learn some real Dhamma? Ready to join the meditation retreat here?
No?
Well, whether we like it or not, buddy, and that's one of those things that you and me is a little bit different because I know that I accept that, I digest that, I go straight ahead into it without umbrage, whereas you kind of go into this process of self-convincing and oh, it's going to work out and it's going to be profitable and I'm going to get good content from it. I'm going to be able to make money from it. And shame on you for doing that, Shiva, and shame on you for making my students and my followers and my donors and my supporters doubt my heart and my intention in doing this Dhamma work. Because by your own admission for years, this is something that's primarily about you. This is something that's primarily about money. It's about subscribers. It's about getting views. It's about chasing after money, and that's disgusting, and I have nothing to do with that. And I'm just here trying to help you on your path. Announcement for everybody who doesn't know, tonight is a big night, and the next 10 days there's no such thing as the Shiva Kailash Shambho community, but this gathering of trolls and rejects and freaks that are watching this guy eating a watermelon in Vietnam, and the community of devotees and students and sannyasins that are following Dr. Rob and the teachings of the Monk Life Meditation Institute. These next 10 days are going to be a big time and a big deal. Please do not, and stay tuned and stand by and stand up and sit upright tonight. We are starting the next 10 days, this next 2-week period tonight, with an all-night upright sitting practice following the Maharashtri event and spiritual gathering. This is a major event in your life. This is a major transitionary point in your life. This is not something that you should take lightly. I want you to be here tonight. I want you to be here for the Mahashivasi. This is going to be an incredible experience, and me and Shiva Kailash Shambho are going to be staying up all night. And Shiva is embarrassed about this. He's afraid. He feels fear. He feels anxiety. He's a little wiggly boy. He's really worried about this. But the truth of the matter is that we are going to be staying all night. And Shiva is not going to have a choice because he's not going to have anywhere to go. He's not going to stay in my house. We're going to go from the Mahashivasti event, all night sitting upright, to going to a 10-day meditation retreat with Sayadaw Ashwinothamatara himself and the Tabarwa Sangha, and being around the Arya Sangha, the Enlightened Sangha, Sotapannas, Sakyagamis, Anagamis, and the Arahat in charge himself, Sayadaw Ashwinothamatara. This is a major event. We are going to be live streaming. We are going to be practicing meditation seriously. This is going to be an incredible event going on. This is going to be a transformational conflux event. Anybody who's connected to Dr. Rob, anybody who's connected to Shiva Kailash Shambho, you are in a major transitional conflux moment. And I invite you to stay tuned, to stand by, to stand up, and to stand forward, because the next 10 days are going to change your entire life. Shambho.
It's Mahashiva Ratri.
And there's that fake Indian accent that people talk about. I think if he wants to talk that way, that's okay for him. Nothing wrong with that.
I made a mistake. I don't want to go. Anyway.
It's not about wanting to go. Spirituality is not about wanting to practice. It's daring to go beyond the bounds of our wants. Sadhguru says, there's always another step forward in life. That's what makes life worth living. And those people who are not willing to see those steps, but instead always stop in the middle, look back at their past steps, look back at their step right here, and to disassociate people into a place of placency and the placenta of ignorance and darkness of mind, should be ashamed of themselves and should be deplatformed from all social media platforms. They should have their bank accounts emptied and reappropriated to be with those who are concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. You got all your things packed? You ready to go to the airport, Shiva? Straight ahead, brother. This is what it's all about. No ifsies, endsies. We go there, we take refuge, we go forward. We be vulnerable. We show these Vietnamese people that we've got the light as well. We've got the Dhamma eye as well. And we got to prove it. And we will.
But then you're coming to Da Nang here, right?
Everything that you want, buddy, everything that you want is going to go exactly the way that you want it to go as soon as you step on that flight and arrive here at Dr. Rob's Meditation Center for the Mahasravasti. I'll take everything from there. Don't worry about that. All right, everybody, the WhatsApp number is posted. Please call in with your questions, and we can take the next step forward in this evolution of spiritual community. Do not be shy to call in.
Yeah, I'll paste it as well.
Shelley says, don't be scared, Shiva. You talk to demon guys. We will care for you. And we certainly will. Have faith. Have faith in the Arya Sangha.
Did anybody watch this YouTube short that I made with Dr. Rob and I yesterday?
Shiva comes tonight, yeah. Late at night, a late flight. Don't be scary, Shiva. And everybody, we are 27% towards our goal. We have raised $800 out of a $3,000 goal. My coffee Dhamma is starting to wear out. And now my anxiety, depression Dhamma with the true Dhamma eye of the unconditioned is starting to wear in. Message from somebody here. Thank you so much for giving me your WhatsApp contact. Hopefully, I will be able to give a generous donation in the coming months since my parents passed away last year around autumn. You have been very, very helpful and an immensely valuable guide through these moments of my life. I wanted to ask, is it okay if I do remixes of your shorts, like use the audio Dhamma lesson from your shorts, and for the video I do Dapo spin juggling, maybe translated to Spanish too so it reaches more people. I'm in Mexico, by the way. This is an international Sangha. This is an international community. This is very real. Sorry, Shiva, please go ahead.
Somebody saying that there's sounds of flushing toilets in the background.
As there should be, because their mind is full of shit. So we're here to flush it out. Seattle come 2 o'clock. So we not go now.
Yeah.
Oh, we will go at the right time.
Does he speak English? Does your teacher speak English?
Are you
No.
a fool? Are you a fool?
Mhm.
Of course. So yes, of course, my teacher speaks English. He speaks better English than you with your fake Indian accent, Shiva.
Anyway,
Very well. He speaks English very well.
So we have 2 people that
Shame
donated
on
to
you
one-
for assuming otherwise.
Thank you for your donation. I highly appreciate it. That'll go towards my phone fund.
How much did they donate?
That is up to God to decide. I got a donation on GoFundMe and my website. Thank you.
And just FYI, Shiva has received multiple donations with explicit requests to send that money to me. Shiva has not sent any money to me at all. Hello? Hello?
Hello, Rob.
What can I do for you, sir?
Yeah, I don't know. You put your number on the live stream, didn't you?
You're not playing on my phone, are you, mate? You know I'm 30% Irish and Scottish and Welsh. Do you know that?
Respect.
Do you know that?
The Celtic heritage.
That's
I
right.
don't know that. I know it now. You've just told me.
So what do you do for work?
What do I do for work? I'm a day trader.
So why can't I get a piece of that pie? Why can't I get a significant donation for the work that I do and the benefits that I've brought to you?
Well, that's a fair question. I only discovered your live streams in the past couple of weeks.
I've seen
and
you
I've only
around. I've seen
them-
you around.
Yeah, well, the last time that you seen me, I was asking you a question. Do you remember?
Well, go ahead. What's your question?
No, I'm asking you, do you remember the question?
I'm asking
because I asked
you,
it
do
about
you
7
remember to
times.
send me the rest of the money that I'm raising on the GoFundMe? That's what I'm asking you. Do you remember that?
Well, I know that that's something that you're working towards.
Thank
and
you.
I respect the hustle.
It's not a hustle. Your job,
Hustle
You're
is a
hustling.
semantic term for whatever you're trying to achieve. I'm not saying that you're hustling me. I used hustle as a semantic term, so I take it back. I respect the goal that you're trying to reach.
okay, and I take back,
Okay,
I take back,
I don't want us to dissolve into some argument about whether I think that what you're doing is right or wrong.
okay.
I'm not judging. I'm not here to judge you, and hopefully you're not here to judge me either.
Of course not. I would never judge you, Daryl.
You could, but
I would not. I'm incapable of judging you.
well, you're saying
not a
that
judge.
after 7 years of what?
I'm not a
After
judge.
7 years of what? Yeah, you're not a judge, but you're a spiritual. How would I put it? You know that you're elevated in terms of wisdom and spiritual kind of
Thank you.
experience.
Thank you, brother.
And for someone from your avenue to speak to someone like me, I would have to give you a bit of respect because there's a lot of things that I'm sure I could learn from you. But I don't know much about you, brother. I don't know much about you at all, mate. I'm just sitting here chilling in Scotland, doing nothing. You put the number up. I thought, I'll give you a phone. You want people to phone in? Here I am. Maybe the universe sent me to you.
Yeah. So what does it look like over there? Are we talking about mountains and rivers and the Scottish Highlands? What are we talking about?
Yep. We're talking Lord of the Rings.
Really? Well, how's
And
the
that's
internet
so
speed
Lord of the
out
Rings is
there?
filmed, mate.
How's the internet speed out there?
The internet's fine. I'm in Britain, brother. The internet's fine. Don't worry about that. How is it crack? Is it shit? Have I got a shit connection?
No, no, I'm just thinking about myself because I'd like to have a meditation center in Scotland at one point in that Lord of the Rings
Oh no,
environment.
absolutely. No, absolutely fine. It'll be perfect, brother. No, it's absolutely a first world country. Don't worry.
Well, we're going to need some of that day trading money to start it.
Well, I can give you stocks right now if you want them.
Sure. Or you can just sell the stocks and fill up the rest of the GoFundMe. Same deal.
So this is how it works. Do you know anything about trading?
I've got some of my one or two of my student and follower, they do day trading on their own.
Right. So you know a little bit.
Well, I would say that I know a little bit, but in you coming and connecting with this spirituality here, you're opening up another dimension of the mind. So it should, I'm not saying that it's going to work that way, but it should work that way. You know what I'm talking about. I hear that laugh. It should work that way. It should give you a little bit
that way.
It should give you a little bit more access to proper intuition related to trading.
Yeah,
It should.
I mean, I'm autistic. I run off intuition 24/7. Why do you think I asked you that question 7 times?
Well, that's why I don't want to waste any time. I want to see if we can fill up the rest of that GoFundMe right here and right now.
Yeah, if you're pitching me like Shark Tank or whatever, if I'm going to invest in you or whatever, then, brother, you're not getting any money from me. So if I'm wasting your time, then you can give up on me. But I just thought it would be nice to speak to you, mate. You're a very interesting person. You've got a lot of experience, and I thought maybe I would learn something from you.
Well, what feels connected to you? What do you feel connected with this about or from? You know what I mean?
feel connected to the fact that I can see that you're on a path to completely defeat the ego,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I've been dealing with that myself. You're very honest, you're very open, and you're also very comfortable with the uncomfortable things in life. And I respect that. I appreciate that. And it's something that I admire. And I think that someone who does that from the listen, I've only watched you a couple of times, so someone who thinks the way you think, I think that you're on a level that's at least slightly above the consciousness of the random person that's trapped in the matrix, as you would call it. And I feel like I'm breaking free from that. And I'm 30 years old. I'm late to the party,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm on a path that's somewhere that's important to go. And I'm in limbo. You know, like when Moses freed the slaves,
But you're not too
he
late.
took those.
30 is not too late.
Yeah, and it's never too late. It's
Yeah.
never too late, brother.
Well, sometimes you get some of these people, they're 40, they're 50, it's difficult. So what's the financial situation over there? Let's get a key into. I mean, do you have your own home? Do you have a car?
I made $11,000 in the past month.
Well, that's a lot more than I've ever made in a month.
Yeah, well, I was just about to tell you 6 stock options, weren't I?
Yeah. No, I mean, I wouldn't know how to receive them, but if you wanted to send me some options, I'd do my best to receive them.
Listen, to receive them, all you need is a pen and a bit of paper. And then see those students that you were talking about who do trading also.
Yeah.
Clearly, if you're connected with them well, then they must owe you something, at least if it's on a friendly basis. They can give you some advice. Brother, you'll make all the money ever that you need. We're going into a war. We're going into a war soon. Precious metals, no brainer. Stock up.
Do you have precious metals?
I'll give you. Of course, gold, silver, and platinum.
How many ounces of gold do you have? And don't pull my leg here, man. I'm
I
not
have-
trying to
I
get
don't-
over.
I
I just
don't
want to
have-
make it clear to you, man. My life isn't
Make it
trying to
clear.
hustle people. I'm just my hustle is
Brother,
connecting with people
don't
and
project.
building community
Do not
with
project
people.
your insecurities onto me, Rob. Do not project. I do not take you for a hustler. I take you at face value. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, and I think
Well, it's
that
not
you're
just you
I
here,
think that
brother.
you're-
There's a lot of people here. It's not just me and you here. So
Oh, I
that's
understand.
part of
I
my
understand.
position as well.
I understand you're speaking in front of the live audience, which means that you're catering your words to not just me. I'm speaking as a personal conversation between you, but again, the people on live can hear us. I understand, sorry, I understand. Yeah, you're not a hustler, you're not, listen.
Yeah. So how many ounces of gold are we talking about?
So, you don't hold on to the commodity itself.
Yeah,
You
I know what you're
if you were
saying.
doing that from 10, 15 years ago, if you were stacking up gold and silver, yeah, that would be great. I hold on to the stocks, right? From day to day basis.
Yeah. Well, I have a psychic contract with a baker in America for a $30,000 gold chain. So I was thinking I'm going to invest because I'm going to wear that gold chain around me. Then I've always got my bank account with me.
Why is it worth $30,000?
It's 24 karat, or we were saying maybe we'll get 23 karat so it's not too soft.
So gold is how much for an ounce?
I don't know. It's been going up and down lately. Let's do the math. Yeah.
It's not what it. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. It's not worth. It might be worth 30,000 as a piece of jewellery, but it's not going to be worth 30,000 in raw materials.
Well, we're going to try to get as close to we can in that. We don't need it to be, fancy. Just something to put on.
We'll understand that your market's not going to be someone who's invested in it. You're going to be selling it as a piece of jewellery. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you will make money from that, brother. See if it's worth 30,000, sell it to someone for 20 grand.
All right, so I'm doing the math
Take
here
the
with
money.
Google Gemini. A 30K gold
Yep.
chain, 23 karat gold. What are we looking at in terms of weight?
How much it would weigh? Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be the size of a fucking skipping rope.
I go for density. I'm a heavy set guy, so I can carry
Yeah,
the
it would be
thickness.
thick. It would be thick.
Okay, so
Give me your numbers.
it says that we're looking at
Oh, Robert.
we're looking at no, it's got confused here. The cost
Yeah.
the cost is $30,000.
Again, that's the cost for someone to shape the metal
Right.
into the design that's attractive. That's to shape it into an aesthetic design that you're going to sell to people, right? It's not the raw value of the commodity itself. That's what I'm saying. I don't hold the precious metals myself. I trade in the precious metals.
All right,
put my
we're
money
looking
into them,
at-
I wait for it to dip.
We're looking at 187 grams. So a usual smartphone weighs about 220 grams. And we're looking at 7 millimeters to 9 millimeters. It's a statement
Wait,
piece.
what? That's like 18 grand. That's like 18 grand worth of gold.
Really?
I think so. 187 grams at $100 a gram.
Okay, I'm going to do that math too. 187 grams gold to
Just
USD.
type in how much is gold. Yeah.
It says about $30,000. In Vietnam, it's
Must be
more.
150. It must be 150 a gram.
There's more gold dealers. There's more people that do that kind of stuff over here. So you can get a better price to weight ratio versus in the Western countries. Because if you go down,
So let me ask you this.
oh yeah, go
Let me
ahead.
ask you this. What would you spend if you were to trade that? If I was to buy that off of you right now for 27.5 grand, what would you spend that money on?
I'd have to think about that. I don't know I don't know if I'd spend it right now,
Take your time.
right away. So
That's an answer.
$27,000 right now. I'd have to think on it. I'd get the bike because we're already 25% to our goal. So for 3,000 for the bike and the GoPro and the helmet and the accessories. But I guess that would be the seed fund for property here in Vietnam, for land, or we'd have to see about a building that was already there, and that would be enough.
Right. Are you in Vietnam?
Yeah, I live in Vietnam. I'm hoping to live here long term because
So is it-
my wife is
allowed to
Vietnamese.
own- So, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, all right, you're long part. I was going to say you're allowed to own land as a foreigner, but if you have a partner that's there, then I'm assuming you can own land.
Yeah. So that would be
But you have to put it in her name.
Yeah, but she's very trustworthy. She was a nun before, so she's very
Oh, of course.
trustworthy.
It's the same in the Philippines.
Yeah.
I've got a friend from the Philippines. He's the same. He's going through the whole tourist thing. He's like, he can't buy land, but he has to put it in her name. Blah blah blah. He has to be there for 3 years. All that nonsense.
Well, we're a pretty no nonsense group around here. We have pretty low tolerance for nonsense around here.
Says the guy who paints on his face on a daily basis. No nonsense.
Well, it's true. I mean, we want people to be interested, but we're not here for the bullshit.
Listen, we're interested. We're interested. You got us hooked. You got us watching, brother. I don't know how you appeared on the algorithm, but all the nonsense aside, or lack of nonsense from your view, I think you've got a lot that you could offer, and I think that you could capitalise on the 7 years of experience that you have. Instead of just brandishing that you have 7 years of experience, I think that, see, do you know Alex Hormozy?
Yeah.
Right. His whole ethics is give it away for free, get always under, what is it, over, I don't even know the saying, I can't get it in my head right now, but it's like, underperform, over deliver, undersell, over deliver, right? So
Right.
see if you just give away your knowledge for free, that is going to rack in all the people, all your community, everyone that's going to come to you, right? And then you can monetize that eventually, because, and you won't feel that you're hustling anyone, because you've given them the value, you've proven to them why they should listen to you, you've shown the knowledge that you have, and then you're like, if you want to invest, if you believe that if they want to further your view and your opinion, then they will invest in that, and they will put that forward. Like the only thing I know about you is this weird dichotomous relationship you have with Shiva, whoever the fuck Shiva is. I don't know who he is. I just keep typing in he sold me drugs.
He's just a freak. It is funny. We appreciate your action over here.
It is funny.
The thing for me, I'm not here to sell anybody anything. I don't want to sell anybody
Sell
anything.
yourself.
But
You're
I
selling
also-
yourself.
But I also don't want people to be confused about the seriousness of this
The goals.
situation and the goals. Yeah. So if people want to be around here, I'm trying to create an atmosphere where the seriousness is very clear. So we're encouraging people to invest, not just in terms of I like this, I don't like this, but actually to invest, to put their money where their heart is, and go from there. So we're looking to build this meditation center here in Vietnam, but it's going to take investment. It's going to take people power, not just a
Yeah.
matter of money.
Yeah, it's going to take that, and you know, it's all going to be in the back of you. It's all going to be in the back of how much people believe in you, brother.
Yeah. But I don't want to
You
just
prepared?
put on some face and try to convince people that I'm a serious guy, because that's my heart. If I'm serious or not, that's a matter of my heart.
Yes.
It's not a matter of if I do look in a certain way or act in a certain way.
Listen, your method is your method. For someone who doesn't want to put on a face, you try to hide yours very regularly, don't you?
Well, everybody's got to be somebody, unless you're nobody. And that's my goal.
No, but that's the thing. That's the thing. You should know more than anyone. You're not somebody. You're not nobody. You're everybody.
Well, we use the word everything. We use the word everything
you're
that is
everybody.
already not something.
You're every animate and inanimate object that ever existed. Everyone you've ever done wrong to, you were doing wrong to yourself. Everyone you've ever helped, you were helping yourself. You know this. I don't need to tell you this. You're a monk. You know this.
Well, we take it to another level in the Buddhism, which is the emptiness of it. So that all those things that appear to exist individually, and then our interactions with those things, actually, and I'm not trying to tell you the way it is, I'm just saying this is our view in the
Tell me.
Buddhism way, that those things don't exist independently. That it's impossible for this pack of cigarettes to exist separate from everything. So this packet of cigarettes is just everything appearing as seemingly a pack of cigarettes, but actually nothing appearing as a pack of cigarettes.
It's an extension of the fields that encapsulate the whole universe, yeah?
Yeah, you can say it like that. It's a better way to say it. or more in line
So
with
do
the
you
Buddhist.
believe, what's your personal views on God? If you're comfortable to speak about that.
God is just eternal consciousness, eternal
So do you think
awareness.
consciousness is fundamental?
Well, it's not something that can be grasped. So it's fundamental, that's free from someone or
Define
something that it's not, it's something that's free from itself of itself. So it's
So
something that
seeing and
exists
meditating,
free of itself.
would you think that meditating is a way to get close to consciousness?
Meditation is a way to orientate towards the way that it actually is. And at the beginning, the way that it actually is just this shit-fucked nightmare of all kinds of bullshit and all kinds of nonsense. But as we meditate more, then we get this opportunity to actually open up our Dharma eye, or our wisdom eye, or our consciousness eye. And so from the consciousness
What is a
eye,
Dharma eye?
the Dharma eye is like your capacity to see what we're talking about here. So it's like,
The
for
observer
me,
who observes?
you can think of it like that, but it's more in line with seeing that it's impossible for someone or something to exist independently. That's one element of it. That's a very important element of it. So when we meditate on not someone. Even though we don't get it or we can't see that way, we start to open up our heart and open up our mind to these broader horizons of not this self-fixated view.
Yeah. See what you were saying there about things not being independent? Like everything has a kind of, it has to be dependent of something. Yeah?
Yeah, everything is
had a-
dependent on something else. And in everything or anything being dependent on something else, it doesn't exist of itself. It doesn't exist independently. It can appear
Right, so
to
I've
exist
heard that thought
independently,
recently.
but it's not actually independent. It's just an appearance, just a
So
false
I've
appearance.
had a thought recently that thinking about truth, I'm autistic, right? So since I was young, I've always
I'm
had an
autistic
obsession
too.
with truth.
I'm very autistic.
It's nice to meet you, brother. Right, so truth, been obsessed with truth. I've always thought this whole, the problem that truth causes, maybe, is there a universal truth? Is there a real truth? 1 and 1 makes 2, right? You'd call that a truth, but is that independent of the physics that we know? Or in a different universe would it be different? So, to completely sideline all of that nonsense, in my head, I came up with a saying that truth is that which sustains meaning.
That's a
If
bad
truth
saying.
is
That's a
the
very
same-
bad saying.
Listen to me, let me explain it. So, I'm saying truth is that which sustains meaning, right? So, independently myself, I cannot establish truth. The only way that truth can be established is if me and you both agree that something matters. So what you just said about
Well,
things
we're
not
raising
existing independently
we're
themselves,
raising we're
that
raising
reflect-
$3,000. We're raising $3,000 for this Monk Life motorbike project here in Vietnam, and that's helping us work towards the seed fund for the Monk Life Meditation Center, land and property. We're going to build it. We're most likely going
So
to
you
build
don't
it.
want to have any deep, kind of esoteric, lovely conversations at the moment. No, you
Because-
don't want to speak to me about
because-
your interests, and
Because
you
the
don't want
deep
to teach me anything.
the deep esoteric conversations rely on circular logic when we don't have right view. When we don't
Listen,
have right
I was
view into
explaining
the
I was explaining myself to you.
the emptiness
And
of what
you
you're
totally
explaining
negated
is
it.
what's being taught here. So if we invest in
What I'm
that
explaining is it's
saying,
been taught. You just said that it's wrong. You just said it's wrong. How can you be teaching what I'm explaining if you're saying that it's totally wrong when you previously just said that you totally agree with it? Things can't be independent. Therefore, truth exists based on two people's agreement.
there
Meaning
are
can
no
only be
two people
established when
here.
Two people
There
agreeing
are
that
no
something
two
means
people here.
something.
We've already established that. There's an appearance of two
separate
people,
of
like
the
a
same-
mirage.
Listen, two aspects. No, I totally disagree. Two aspects of the same consciousness. When you think to yourself, you get a different answer. There's two people in your head thinking. There's 3 people. There's 4 people. There's 5. There's degrees of agency in your consciousness. There's levels to consciousness. You know this. Mate, I'm not even that clever. Come on. Are you scared of having the conversation? Does it attack your ego? Yeah, I'm comfortable in silence, don't worry. I'll sit here with you.
So this is something that we take very seriously.
You'll stop fucking around.
Listen, man, you've got an anger in you. You've got a greed
No, I
in
don't.
you. That
I have
$11,000,
emergency.
that $11,000 that you made last month, man, it's not gonna bring truth.
Yeah, that was just last month.
Well, I'm trying to raise money for this project that I've got going on here.
Yeah, what do you want me to do about it? What have you ever done for me?
Well, you're here getting value from this, aren't you?
No, I tried to have one conversation with you and you totally dismissed it.
My conversation, what I can give you here is to cut and to finish and to end and to resolve these false notions, these bad
And you've
investments.
done none of that.
I'm giving you these investments here. You got to be patient, brother. You got to be open, brother.
I'm patient and open. You have to be as a trader. Brother, when's the last time you said I don't know to a question, and when's the last time you were wrong about something?
I don't know.
Second question.
I answered both in one. See, this is when you get to the higher principles, man, the higher
Denial.
philosophy.
Denial.
When you can
Denial.
have two questions in one and one
Yeah,
question
Flynn
in
words
two.
at me. Listen, Flynn words at me and use verbiage to try and throw the conversation off. I ask you two
I'm
simple
trying to
questions.
help you,
If
man.
ask me
I'm
the
trying to
answer, I
give
don't
you
know.
advice. I appreciate your accent. I
You-
appreciate who you are. I appreciate your life as a man.
Brother,
I love
You could not
Braveheart,
help me. I
man.
did not ask
I
for
love Braveheart,
You're the
man.
one-
Nobody
listen.
loves Braveheart more than me, okay? We're brothers. I'm 30% Scottish. I'm 30% Irish, man.
do.
And
do
I'm
not
just
try to
asking
accuse
you
my
for a
ego.
little
It
bit of a
does not
handout.
work.
I'm just asking you for a little bit of a help. We're not all making $11,000 a month over here. This is very expensive
could be.
advice.
You could be.
It's very likely,
Yeah.
it's very likely that this is going to increase your potency in terms of your investments, your discernments. You can take more risk because you have more generosity in you.
Right, okay, so what's stopping me from flying to Vietnam, taking $150,000 out the bank, building my own fucking retreat, totally making you an absolute pariah in the community through subversive tactics, making sure that you never establish anything in the community, make you a total absolute banned out, we don't want you, right? I could do that. What's
Brother,
stopping me doing that?
Brother, I'm trying to bring you into a new dimension of consciousness, and I encourage you to do that.
You're
I'm
not
here to
offering me
cooperate
anything.
with
There's nothing
people.
you-
I'm
saying-
not here to get mine and ride off into the sunset. Okay, I'm here to build
I hope
something
not. I
together.
hope
We're
not.
here building something together.
I don't need you.
What do you mean?
I'll
You don't need
happily
me.
work with you. Well, no, listen. You're the one that's asking me, would you contribute to this? Would you contribute to that? You think it would be spiritually developing for me? You think it would be meaningful for me? And
If
then-
that's what
but
you
also at the
decide,
same
if
time
you
tell
make
me-
that determination in yourself, I'm not just telling you to listen to
Don't
me.
speak over me. Don't speak over me. You need to learn manners, son. And then at the same time,
You're
saying
talking
me,
to
"But
an elder here,
I've
man.
given
I'm
you so
33
much
years
value."
old.
I've given you so much value, this and that. What value have you given me? You didn't even answer my question straight.
I can't help
Here,
it
by
if
the
you
way,
don't
just
like
to-
the advice that you're
Rob.
not paying for.
Rob, just to get the conversation back on track, I need you to know that I respect you as a person.
I respect
I
you as
think
a
we're
person.
great.
I respect the Scottish people. I respect all those energies, man.
I wasn't asking, and to be honest, I don't care. But I would just like you to know from me, I respect you as a person, and I hope that you meet your goals.
Thank you. And I
right?
hope that you'll be
And
a part of
and
that.
If I manage, If I find value in the future, then I will seriously consider investing in
Thank
your
you, brother.
project, because I think you've got a pure heart, and I think that you want to. I think you want to do good, and I
Thank
think
you.
you want to make something good. But I think that you have to detach yourself from the project, because I think your ego's a bit wrapped up in the project. The same way you see Shiva wrapped up in his ego, I can see you wrapped up in the ego of your project too. Right? We're all human, so I'd like you to work on that.
I will. Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Good brother, good brother, good brother. And you know what? I know you will. Good man, good man.
And I can see that too, and I
I'll
can
keep-
see what you're showing me in that, and I 100% agree. And that's something that my teacher has said about me recently. I have too much attachment to.
Really?
Yeah, he said I have too much. I can teach, I can do good deeds, but I have attachment to the time or the place or the particular situation, which is what you're saying in that, and it leads me to not be more receptive and more open to listening.
But it must be so hard to have all the knowledge and the experience that you have, and then you want to share it with people, but it's just, it must be hard to share it in a proper way. I can imagine it would be.
Well, there can be a frustration because it seems like these people that I'm talking to speak English.
Yeah.
Seems like they should be able to hear what I'm saying, and then we should be able to have a conversation about it. But our egos
Yeah.
get in the way. My ego gets in the way from hearing what's being said and for being open and receptive enough to hear what's being said and not just go
So
into
how do you deal with that?
I just refresh and restart. I begin again. I don't get caught up in my lacking. I try to see my lacking and reopen.
I think it would be good for you to focus on the fact that the people who will hear you are the people that matter. The people who will understand you are the people that matter. You don't want the people who don't understand. You don't want the people who aren't ready. Your community will build itself. Yeah?
Yeah.
You will attract the people who are important. Keep doing what you're doing, right? You've got a noble cause. Not a lot of people are doing what you're doing.
Thank you, brother.
Someone has to do it,
Thank you.
right? And last question before I go. This is probably completely off topic, but what do you think about Ram Dass?
He's good. He's great. I mean, he's a great example of a spiritual teacher and good methods and principles. So there's kind of two big groups out there in the spiritual scene. There's the Hindu group,
Yep.
which can be a little bit more comfortable for the Western ego because all the gods and that just influences how they do things. And then there's the Buddhist group, which is a little bit more emptiness focused, which can seem more dry. But if you're bringing people
So
like
you're
that
on the
into your,
Buddhist side?
yeah, I'm on the Buddhist side. Yeah, I was saying to
Yeah,
somebody,
I resonate with Buddhism more.
I was saying to somebody that I should become like a Hindu guru or a Hindu Swami. You know, I'd probably get a lot
Maybe.
more people interested. But I'm just going to keep doing my
Maybe.
thing, you know, and be patient and be open and not fixate
So-
on it going one particular way.
So you're saying maybe you should become this and you should become that. You know, you're already doing that.
Well, I want to see things happen, you know, I want to see things happen quickly. And
Let them happen. Yeah, well, that's something you need to work on, brother. Things will happen in their time. You might feel resentment because you think that you're putting these messages out to the universe and they're not getting listened to, they're not getting heard. They are getting heard. Do not doubt yourself, brother. They're getting heard. Listen, you've got a random guy from Scotland phoning you at fucking, what time is it? 3 in the morning for me here.
Well, you're not a
So they're
random
doing
guy
something
now. You're not a random guy to me.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. My name's Daryl. It's nice to meet you. I know you know my name, but nice to formally meet you.
My name's Rob. It's nice to meet you
But
too,
you're-
Daryl.
But you're doing something right. You're doing something right. So keep doing it. And one thing, do not take don't take it as a personal. Don't take it on yourself. If you think it's working, if you think it's not working, if it's working, don't let it gas your ego up. If it's not working, don't let it break you down, right? Because that's just your perception. Just let it be what it is. And I know you know this, and I know this is who you really are deep down. Let it be, right? It'll work. It'll work. If it's meant for you, it'll come for you. You know that. And I think you're a very, very deep. I think you're very, very intelligent. I think you're very self-aware. I think you're very open. I think you're very gracious. I think that you're very caring, and I think that you have a good intention in your heart. And do you know what? See, if you've got all those things, you can't go wrong. If that's really you, you cannot go wrong. And I would like you to hold on to that and believe that, right? You can't go wrong. Right, Rob?
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Daryl.
Right, I'm away. Nice speaking to you, brother.
All right, enjoy the hills of Scotland, eh? For me.
Always will, brother. And do you know what? Hopefully one day, maybe I'll fly you out here, you come meet me, you fly me to Vietnam, we have a good time.
You're always
Yeah.
welcome here. You're welcome in my home, Daryl.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, right? You have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now we're raising $3,000 for this Monk Life motorbike project, which is moving us towards our seed fund for the Monk Life Meditation Center. We have the GoFundMe set up right here. We just have received another $25 from Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. We are officially 28% towards our $3,000 goal. We've raised $325. You can find the GoFundMe link in the YouTube channel. You can find the comments right there. The GoFundMe link is posted. And this is the logical next step for our work and where we're headed to in the community and where we're headed to in our time. This is a very auspicious time to donate. This is a very auspicious time. You can read everything about it on the GoFundMe link. There's a lot more information there. This is a wonderful time to donate, and we are starting a period, a 2-week period of intensive spiritual practice here in the community with Mahashivasti tonight. We're going to be up all night. We're going to be sitting upright all night tonight. We've raised 28% of our goal, which is we've raised $825, and we're hoping to get up to 50% or more in the near future. So this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this, everybody. We're not in a hurry, we're not in a rush, but this is something very serious. You can see the link, you can go and check out the fundraiser for yourself. You can see if it's worthy of your consideration and worthy of your generosity or not. The link is posted right here. If you're watching this live stream on the vertical live stream as well, you may consider to go to the Monk Life Meditation channel, where you can see me in 4K in 16:9 format and higher audio quality, higher video quality, and all that kind of stuff. So you can come and connect and come and get involved with what we're doing here. Your hard-earned money can be used to help me get this motorbike and do this motorbike project here in Vietnam, as well as slowly moving towards the seed fund for the Monk Life Meditation Center. This GoFundMe is representing the next logical step towards the $20,000 GoFundMe, the $20,000 fundraising event that will take place in the near future, later this year, for us to raise money for the Monk Life Meditation Center here in Vietnam. Hello?
Hi Rob, it's Keisha, and I'm just calling because I'm here alone at I want to participate in like the meditation, even though I'm gonna be continuing to work and things like this. grandma went to a care center, so I'm alone at my house. And, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but anyway. I'm 24, and I just want to get rid of my ego. And I want your advice.
When's the last time you smoked weed?
It's been about a month.
Okay. When's the last time you've drinking alcohol?
I had a glass of wine 2 days ago.
Okay. So what's the problem? What is your job? How are you making money? How are you supporting yourself?
I serve like only 3 days a week.
You're a waitress?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are you doing with the rest of your time?
Smoking cigarettes outside, talking to my neighbors,
Sounds disgusting.
making mandalas. I draw mandalas all day.
Okay. What else?
I'm going on walks. I don't have a car. I don't have a license. So I feel stuck.
Okay. How often are you tuning in and following with our meditation teachings here?
Like every day, but I don't apply it as much as I should.
Yeah. You don't apply anything that's being said.
No.
So Kira Kasia, what we're doing here is we're spending time with Sangha. We're spending time with a community concerned with enlightenment. We're not going outside and smoking cigarettes and talking with our alcoholic neighbors and talking about politics and talking about nonsense. So come here and practice. This is a place to come and practice. This is not a place to come and just be ridiculous and act like a fool, which you know that you've done. And I've called you out on that, have I not? And said this is not appropriate. You're better than that. So you come here and you take this as your community, but this community doesn't need wine drinking, cigarette smoking, people hanging out and talking about things and thinking about things. This community needs people who are willing to come here and to give up, to give away themselves. So sit upright. Sit and listen seriously. Be with this experience. Be with this community. You're thinking about your life. How about you stop thinking about now? And you be here now. We have the Mahashivasti coming up. We have this big retreat coming up. There's going to be a lot of content coming out about that. But you have to take the advice and the encouragement here to heart. I'm happy to work with you, but if you're not working with yourself, how can I work with you? Right? Yes or no?
Yes.
We need to be more and more specific. Don't just make mandalas, make a mandala offering. Don't just make mandalas and donate that to our Sangha. We can send those out to people. You can mail those out to our Sangha members. But you need to get more specific. You need to take this more seriously. This is one of the most serious things that you'll come across in your life, honey. You're wearing skimpy clothes, you're stretching, you're in the bathtub, you're in the shower, you're turning on your video, you're going to Shiva Kailash Shambhu's Trolls Discord server to hang out with people, etc. We're not doing any of that here. We don't need any of that here. There's plenty on the table. There's plenty of ridiculous here as it is. We don't need to add more to that. Right? And that's all you need to do. You're welcome here. We have a community of women here. We have a community of practitioners here. We can listen to the Dharma talks. We can try to practice meditation. We can try to stay close to the 5 precepts. We can watch our mind. You can watch your mind now. Instead of trying to play house, instead of trying to play house with a bunch of random men online or whoever you can come across, stop playing around. Stop smoking cigarettes. You don't need to be smoking cigarettes, standing out to your door talking to Jim Bob and Wisima and all these different people, Sharon next door. There's no need for that. If it happens, it happens, but that shouldn't be one of your practices.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna work on myself a lot more. And
Don't work on yourself. Don't work on yourself. Don't talk about destroying your ego. Watch your mind. Be aware of your mind right now, honey.
Be aware of my mind.
Yeah.
All right, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Nobody cares if you're excited. Nobody cares if you're excited. Sharon next door, you know, as she's swooshing moonshine out of a mason jar, cares if you're excited. This isn't about you being excited. Watch your mind. You're here. You're here already. So you don't need to be excited about being here in the future. Watch your mind. Don't be controlled by your mind. Just watch. Just be aware. Be in a state of unknowing. Don't constantly grasp onto your thoughts about what you're experiencing. You should not be watching this for entertainment. The moment that you're watching this for entertainment is the moment that you become a fucking loser.
Okay, yeah. Yes, sir. No more loser for me. I'm only going up.
It's just nonsense. You got to sit there and you got to cry. You got to sit there and you got to feel it. You got to sit and cross your legs and feel pain. Together with us. With this Sangha, with this community.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, you sitting there and being in pain and focusing on Dr. Rob and the Monk Life Meditation Institute and the Sangha here and the community here. It's great. Make more resources for you and people like you, but if you can't be a resource for yourself in this, then how are we going to create resources for you? If you can't be there for yourself in this, how am I going to be there for yourself in this? It's just going to be a game. So this is not a game.
You guys are staying up all night and meditating.
Don't worry about you guys. Don't worry about you guys. There's no you guys here. You're already here. You are already here. So if you want to be a child, be a child. But if you're not willing to be a child, then you're going to be some kind of beast, some kind of slut, some kind of whore, some kind of freak. That's not what we're doing here. Be a child. A child is happy to be with their family, doing their art. They're quiet, they're listening, they're receptive. They're not trying to think about how they can show their body in the bathtub. Watch your mind. You are already here. So just be here and watch your mind and come home here.
So it begins.
And so it is. Let's sing a song together, okay? You ready? You better know this song. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Let me hear ya. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water, reflecting what is real, what is true, what is true.
What is true?
Okay? So you show up here and you need to listen. Even if it's just for a short period of time, you need to listen. And then you ask, what can I do next? But if you can't listen, you can't make use of what's available here anyway. So what am I supposed to do now? How many
What
hours
am I supposed to?
how many hours have I live streamed this week? Anybody know? Anybody keeping track of how many hours I've live streamed in the past 7 days? There's a project for you right there. So even if it's just for a small period of time, you show up and you look closely and you listen. As if you were a child, as if you were curious, as if you were discovering something new that was important and interesting and valuable to you. Now, Cassia, are you on the Monk Life Discord?
Yes.
Okay. Shelly has offered to send you a deck of cards, a deck of Dr. Rob Monk Life Meditation cards.
No way.
That's right. That's right. So reach out to Shelly on the Discord, say hello, and listen, honey.
Okay.
This is not about your sexual value. How old are you, Cassia?
I guess.
You're already making a fucking mess. This is not about your sexual
I
value.
am
This is not about your
24.
sexual value, okay?
I am
So
24
come
years
here,
old.
come here and practice seriously, and don't be a slut here, don't be a whore here. That destroys meditation communities. When you've got a young woman slutting around, looking for somebody to notice her tail. Okay?
Right.
So
Oh,
don't
yes.
do that. Don't be like that. All right, dear? You are welcome
All right.
here. You are welcome here. But the last thing that we need here is a slut coming and shaking her ass around and saying, hey, anybody see what I got? Okay?
I will. I hear you, and I'll reach out to Shelly.
This is tough stuff, honey. This is not fun. This is not a party. This is real. So do your best and you know, come on. You're known here, okay? Don't be a stranger here. But don't be a fool here either. If you want to participate, you have to take responsibility for your womanhood. You have to take back your purity, Cassia.
All right.
Okay? And relax, but relax in your virtue, relax in your restraint, relax in your purity, relax in watching your mind. Now. How are you going to watch your mind tomorrow? Your mind is not tomorrow. Your mind is never going to be tomorrow. Your mind is only now. So watch your mind. Use that as a mantra. Watch my mind. And watch my mind. But you have to concentrate. Because this is not what it appears to be. And what the fuck would it even be if what it appears to be? No one has... All the haters and all the random people have had no traction or have not offered anything valuable or realistic in terms of what this appears to be and then what it actually is. So don't try to do that, right?
That's so true.
Okay. All right, Cassia, you have any other questions?
Is there anything that you do to sharpen your mind and your concentration, like math or, like you said?
Do not
How would you
masturbate.
like-
Do not masturbate.
Copy that.
Okay. See you later.
Do not masturbate. Peace.
Okay, this is not a masturbation group. We're not all masturbating and then we come and, hey, everybody, I'm here. I'm not talking about Cassia personally, but we're not doing that here. This is not a masturbation group, everybody. You come here and you make the pray emoji and you pay respect to Dr. Rob. Well, what were you using those hands for? Okay? You're putting food in the Buddha's bowl with hands that you've been masturbating with. Not a good idea. Not about Cassia personally. You don't have money? Good for you. You can make your mandalas, you can make art, you can volunteer as a part of the Monk Life Meditation Institute. But if you're not showing up here and listening closely and deeply, you don't even have any idea about what's going on here, let alone to make a determination if you want to be involved with what's going on here. Okay, Shiva, do you have any updates from your side?
Updates, huh? Thank you, Maria, for your donation.
Maria shouldn't be donating to you. Maria should be donating to the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Fund, the GoFundMe. There shouldn't be, Shiva should, when I'm live streaming with Shiva, there shouldn't be a single word coming out of his mouth that says, thank you so-and-so for donating through my website or through this means or through those means. Let's take care of the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Fund first, and then we'll talk about Shiva. Shiva, have you purchased the phone that you have more than enough money to buy before you come to my house? Have you purchased the phone or not?
No, I'm not. So, how much do I want to go into this? China.
Go into it. Go into it fully. We want to hear.
All right, so Dr. Rob, you need to be careful with your speech. Your speech is very erratic and unskillful. You use it blatantly. Like a person wielding a machine gun sprays the bullets everywhere without concern who it hits or what it impacts. Secondly,
So this is coming from a guy who is continuously going live on his YouTube channel talking about his need for a virgin wife, right? That's the guy who's telling me that I need to be careful about my speech. The guy who's constantly going on live streams begging for money from anybody who will listen to him, and then going into an hour-long diatribe about how women should be virgins and how he's expecting a young virgin wife. That's the guy who's talking to me, right? Or is this a new Shiva? Is this a different Shiva? Same Shiva or different Shiva? Which one is
Is
it?
there something wrong with
Same
staying
Shiva
in-
or different Shiva who says who's a fundamental part of his community work and his teachings and his guidance for people in the world and his self-representation is how important it is for him to have a virgin wife? Is this the same Shiva or is this a different Shiva?
Is this the same Shiva or a different Shiva? Does not apply.
Just talking nonsense. Look, you work on your weird incel, anti-women, anti-feminism, hyper-patriarchal worldview of women needing to be virgins to meet your needs, and then we'll talk about a machine gun of nonsense speech and how that affects people. Can you imagine somebody that looks like this? A literal hobo bagpacker that puts on a fake Indian accent and pretends to be a self-anointed spiritual teacher, talking to young women online and telling them that they should be a virgin wife because that's what he wants. That women should be virgins, that women should not have the same sexual freedom as men because he wants a virgin wife.
Is there something wrong with wanting a virgin wife?
Is there something wrong with somebody that looks like this guy over here, who literally looks like a hobo and was a pickup artist before and failed at that and then became a self-anointed spiritual teacher, someone who literally looks like that? Okay, let's not mince words. Let's not pull into a bunch of different ideas. Somebody who is a literal bagpacker in Vietnam doing live streams begging for money for a new phone that he's not willing to work for. Okay, you know, if you want a new fucking phone, Shiva, why don't you get a job? You ever think about that? Instead of selling necklaces that you say you gave spiritual power to on your website and telling people that you'll change the color of their chakras for $1,000. So somebody who literally looks like that, live streaming online as a bagpacker, as someone begging for a new phone, saying that he wants and deserves and needs a virgin wife. Is there something wrong with that? Or am I in fucking Looney Tuneville? Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo.
This is what I'm talking about, wrong speech and using language blatantly without concern for others. Something you have to sharpen and master. So be careful with your
Yeah,
speech.
I'll do my best to sharpen being a bagpacker in Vietnam, asking people for money online for a phone that I'm not willing to work for, and looking like an Arabian swashbuckling pirate from the 60s, while I tell people that I need a virgin wife and how important it is for you to have a virgin wife that's energy isn't tainted. And if that's what your community is into, good for them, but that's got nothing to do with my work and the teachings of the Monk Life Meditation Institute. And if anybody here is watching this and can see how insane it is what this guy is saying, telling me about my speech, as he looks like that and is online telling people he needs a virgin wife, you can go over to the Monk Life Meditation YouTube channel and you can cut his bullshit out of here. You must be out of your mind, man.
Secondly, you tell others how to live their lives and how to better their lives, but you can't even better your own life. Smoking, drinking, masturbating probably. How can you tell others to stop smoking while you yourself are a pack-a-day smoker? And again, is there something wrong with desiring a virgin wife?
Let's say it again. Is there something wrong? Is there something insane? Is there something totally fucking cuckooville, bongo bingo world of insanity that you've got a guy that looks like this guy over here, that is a bagpacker, that is living in Vietnam and begging online for money for a new phone that he's not willing to work for, that he already has enough money for, day after day, begging, and going online right now and saying, is there something wrong with me saying that I deserve a virgin wife? I'll let the audience decide. I'm not here to decide who and what is insane or what is not insane. Everybody here can decide if that's insane or not. I've already made my decision, and that's my business. So I must be in Cuckooville. If you want a new phone, Shiva, get a fucking job. What are you doing begging people on your drama, pickup artist, incel, white supremacist, insanity YouTube channel that's all about, where if you go to this guy's YouTube channel, you'll see videos, 2 videos ago from yesterday, of him being accused and admitting to sexually harassing women on his Discord server and talking about how he wants to see their face and trying to approach them for some kind of intimate relationship. And him admitting to that and saying, is there anything wrong with me wanting a virgin wife and wanting a good woman in my spiritual community? You're out of your fucking mind, buddy. Go to his YouTube channel and look at the videos. The sexual harassment of his Discord server. You're talking about my speech is reckless and out of control? You're insane, man. You don't get it. And you can sit there and cross your legs and pretend to be meditating and doing all this while I sit here doing what I'm doing, but nobody who knows anything buys it. And if there's middle-aged women out there that are seeing this guy who's sitting here begging and not getting a job to work for what he wants, begging for money for a new phone, while he says and sexually harasses women on his Discord server to show their face and says that he saw their lips and they were enticing him, then you give him all the fucking money you want to give him. But that's not something that I support, and that's not something that I think any women should be supporting. You need to take care of your own house, man, and your own business before you go pointing fingers around at other people's speech. Sitting there acting like a guru or a yogi. You're self-anointed. You're self-declared to be a spiritual teacher. You're a failed pickup artist. You're begging. You're sitting on some kind of holier-than-thou spiritual seat as you're begging for money for a fucking phone that you already have enough money for, but you say, well, I have other bills to pay. Then that sounds like your fucking problem. If you have bills to pay, get a fucking job. You're expecting people who you don't offer any value to. You popped out of nowhere and started doing spiritual drama and claiming to be enlightened and said that you're the ego guru. Yeah, fucking right, man. You want money? You want somebody to fund your life? Then get a fucking job or offer something of value besides just sitting there and meditating.
So, is there something, I'm just a little bit confused here because you're consistently pointing at my appearance as if it has any relevance to my personal desires and preferences. What is
Yeah,
my appearance
the
have
same
to
as
do with
you
my
pointing to
preferences?
women being virgins or not. That's just physical appearance, dummy. So you're a human being, man, and you're on the path. That's great. But you fixating on women being virgins and you need a virgin wife is just you fixating on appearances. And if you want to fixate on appearances, let's talk about your appearances as a failed pickup artist that looks like that looks like a hobo and a 60s Iranian swashbuckler pirate hobo that's begging for money for a phone that you have enough money for. And you can see the pinned message right down here. Buy Shiva a new phone. Buy your own fucking phone, Shiva. Get a job as an English teacher. Shelley said she has an aunt. She has a family member in Canada that can help you find a job, man. It's nobody else's responsibility to take care of your life and to take care of your desires. And yeah, you having a second phone is your desire because clearly you already have a phone and it works just fine. It especially works just fine for you just standing there, sitting there. Being a virgin is a physical characteristic. So if you want to talk about women's physical characteristics, and then conflating that with something to do with spirituality or Isha Foundation is exactly the kind of disassociation of mind that got you kicked out of Isha Foundation to begin with, man. And you're still holding on to that. That's what I don't get. You're still holding on to this idea that your role as a spiritual teacher, as Shiva Kailash Shambho, talking about Sadhguru, talking about spiritual practices, that somehow it's important for you to talk about wanting a virgin wife. Get it through your thick fucking skull, man, that nobody gives a fuck if you want a virgin wife. And you thinking that has anything to do with spirituality just shows how spiritually underdeveloped you are, man. You're out of your mind. You're stuck in your mind. You're stuck in this incel, anti-women mindset or something. You want to have a new phone? Put in the work to get a new phone, man. Why are you looking around for a handout?
If you're a man out there, there's nothing wrong with you wanting a virgin wife or having physical characteristics. That's your preference, that's what you want. And that triggers Rob for some reason. Triggers him badly. So he needs to investigate that with himself. He needs to meditate on that. And also he needs to be careful how he uses speech, because it's quite reckless in my view. And also drop some of these addictions in his life. I don't know how he can so confidently teach people how to live, but he himself can't even stop smoking. And getting back on the physical appearance part, pointing at me, I'm looking like something. I have a long hair and a beard. So how a man is supposed
And
to
for
look like.
anybody who wants to take a stand against Shiva and actually put their vote and their money where their mouth is and where their heart is, I'm raising $3,000 for a project here in Vietnam to get a motorbike, to travel to temples, to go around. And it's the start of the next step of the Monk Life Meditation Institute, raising the $20,000 seed fund for the physical property here in Vietnam. That GoFundMe link you can find on my YouTube channel. You can find it in the chat right here. Do not be shy to check out that GoFundMe link. That is something very real. Unlike Shiva, I'm actually willing to work for what I want, and I've put in the work. And Shiva Kailash Shambho just wants to go around and beg. LeBron Aether says, I married my wife 6 years ago and she wasn't a virgin. I don't think that's an important factor. We've been happily married for 6 years. Don't get hung up on details if you really like a woman. And I'm sorry, but if you're going around looking at women and trying to determine if they're virgins or not, you're probably going around and looking for young women. And that's also something that you've talked about, Shiva. If it's legal, it's okay. And if that's as far as your morality goes, man, then that's messed up.
There's nothing wrong with you preferring a virgin woman. And if that's what you want, then that's what you should go look for.
And a young woman, right? There's nothing wrong with you wanting a young woman, wanting an 18-year-old, wanting a teenage wife, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Youthfulness is important for making
So you
babies.
want, and as you said before, you want a young virgin wife, right? How young? Whatever's legal. That's what you've said before, right? If it's legal, then that'll be fine. Well, let me tell you something, buddy. You ain't no cup of tea. You ain't no shining example. I want a young virgin wife that's pure. Yeah, a hobo in Vietnam begging for money online to buy a phone, to buy a second phone, says he wants a young virgin wife. Maybe you should apply your standards to yourself, man. What woman out there wants to marry a homeless beggar who's staying in an Airbnb that his friend helped him pay for, and then his friend left to go back to get away from you? What woman is looking for that? Raise your hand if you're a woman looking for a real man that's a homeless beggar that looks like a swashbuckling pirate, Iranian pirate from the 60s, that's daily getting online and begging for money from random people for a new phone.
So your views of me don't change my preferences. You're a man. If you're a woman, maybe I'll take your considerations more seriously. But again, your anger and agitation on this topic should be a
It's
place for review.
discussed. And some of my followers and my donors actually, and my students have left me and stepped away from donating to me and supporting me because I've platformed your weirdo incel mentality about wanting a virgin wife and how you feel that it's so important in your spiritual life and in your spiritual teachings to talk about how you need a virgin wife and how it's totally okay if a man wants a virgin wife. What the fuck are you talking about? I never heard Sadhguru saying, hey everybody, it's okay if you want a young virgin wife. How does this align with the teachings of Sadhguru?
So we're supposed to assume that anything that we don't hear Sadhguru
You should
talk
be
about is
teaching
automatically not
brahmacharya.
true.
You should be teaching samayas. You should be teaching how to practice sadhana. Not saying, I've got a platform now. It's very important for me to talk about men being, it's okay for men to want young virgin wives. What are you, a caveman? You sure look like a homeless caveman. You look like a hobo. I don't care how much you brush the hair behind your ears and comb it out. You're a freak, man. And you have weirdo ideas about women and relationships between men and women, which is none of your business. You can't even afford a fucking phone, man. And you're sitting there trying to tell people what's right and wrong in the world and how to live their lives as you're sitting there begging for money for a phone. Joff Midden says, Ken confirm his community and general vibe is cooked. Joff Midian had me weirded out that there was a collaboration between the two of you. I've lost money, just FYI to everybody here. I've lost money by spending time with this guy and having conversations with this guy. He goes online and he begs for money for a phone. That's what he does. And has this holier than thou mentality as he begs for money from random people online.
Thank you, Matt Daddy, for your $5 super chat. Peace to you too. Thank you.
Now we have raised hold on everybody. We have an announcement. All right, everybody, hold on, okay? We have an announcement here at the Monk Life Meditation Institute. I'd like to pause, everybody. I'd like to make a serious pause here. Now, I'd like everyone to make sure they have access to the GoFundMe link because I don't want anybody to think that I'm pulling their leg or messing around or doing anything like that. Now, we have our GoFundMe right here that was set up by Kira. Help Dr. Rob expand his outreach. We have a goal of $3,000. We have just received an anonymous $1,000 donation. Can we get a round of applause, everybody? Can we get some W's in the chat? Can we get some prayer emojis in the chat? The GoFundMe link is right here. We have received an anonymous $1,000 donation, which has put us at only $75 away from $2,000 total dollars raised. That means we are 65% towards our goal on the GoFundMe. We are looking for somebody to step up right now to offer a $75 seed donation to push us over the $2,000 mark of our $3,000 goal. Can we get some W's in the chat? I'm not pulling anybody's leg here. I want to be transparent with everybody here. This is not a fake link, okay? This is the GoFundMe right here, and I'll post it here. We do not stand for, we do not endorse, we do not support the values, the unskillful activities, the clear lack of efficacy of lifestyle and teaching and practice and weirdo mentality and weirdo thoughts of Shiva Kailash Shambho. We have our own work that we're doing here in the Monk Life Meditation Institute and the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Project. Check the GoFundMe link right here. We have just received another $1,000 donations that has pushed us over the 50% mark. We are officially at 65% of our overall $3,000 goal. We are inviting the members of this community to step up, to step out, and to make a $75 seed donation to push us over the $2,000 mark of our $3,000 goal. I can make an announcement right here and right now that we will most certainly be purchasing the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike here in Vietnam. We will, $2,500 is specifically for the motorbike and related fees, and $500 is going to be for helmet, it's going to be for gear, it's going to be for the GoPro, it's going to be for make sure we have a proper mic for these Monk Life Meditation Motorbike vlogs and activities. This is a big change happening in the community, and I'd like to invite everyone here to step up to make a seed donation. We're looking for a seed donation of $75. If 7 people each donated $12, that would push us over the $2,000 mark on this GoFundMe. We've received a $1,000 anonymous donation. We are almost at our over $2,000 raised. This is donation protected.
Thank you, Gregoria, for your $2 super chat. Thank you.
This
And we have
GoFundMe was created 2 days ago. Yes, that is correct. We have almost raised $2,000 in 2 days for our towards our $3,000 goal to help Dr. Rob expand his reach. If something happens, if the time in Vietnam, if the project here in Vietnam is not able to work out, that motorbike will be sold and those funds will be made use of for travel expenses, for donations made to Buddhist temples and monasteries around the world. We are not joking around here. We are not pulling people's legs here. We are not scheming here. An anonymous $1,000 donation right in one moment.
thank you to Screen Boss Gaming for donating a $10 super chat. He says, the rich man gave, so I am proving that I can give from an empty cup. Thank you very much for your super chat.
Let's get some W's in the chat for Screen with their practice of generosity. You have that right, Acadian Stacker. We have received a $1,000 anonymous donation. I understand that it sometimes takes time to get our affairs in order, but we are looking for a $75 seed donation from a new donor to push us over the $2,000 mark. Okay? And thank you to that anonymous donor, whoever they are. May I offer you this Buddhist chant. This blessing chant that I learned in my 7 years of being a Buddhist monk. And I do mean it. Sapitio vivachantu saparoko vinasatu mape pawadana silicha ayuwano sukang barang sadhu sadhu sadhu. And for all of those spiritual individuals out there, I want us all to consider, we're not talking about money here. I am not a businessman. I am not an investor. I am not a monetary value person. Everyone, I would like to make an announcement. I would like to stop what we're doing here, and I'd like to make an announcement. We have just received news. We have just received information that 1,000 USD donation has come from a new member of our community, Daryl Brown, in Scotland, somebody who we had just heard to, who had just talked to, is a stock trader in Scotland. May you be successful in your trades, brother. May you continue in your path, in your journey, brother. And may we make the very best use of these donations and these offerings to continue in what we're doing here. And may I be more serious. May I be more humble. May I take this more seriously. And may I support more fully all members of this community. Daryl, thank you very much. Daryl, it's not about the money. It's about the generosity. It's about the heart. Thank you for empowering me to go forth into the world with this empowerment and with this support. It has nothing to do with the money, my friends. This is unbelievable, everybody. We have another donation that has just come in. We have received an anonymous donation of $61 to put us exactly at the point. We have received 2 donations, everybody. We have received a $14 donation and a $61 donation to put us at the $2,000 raised mark, everybody. Can we get some W's in the chat? We are not mucking about here at the Dr. Rob Monk Life Meditation Institute. Some people hold these ideas. Yeah, there's always a schmuck in every bucket. Let me assure you, everybody, that someone that can make $1,000 donation is not just some schmuck. These are serious people that are getting serious effects and are on a serious path. We are looking for one more seed donation for today to push us over the $2,000 mark, to push us over the mark, the 2/3 mark, the mark of $2,000 on our way to $3,000 total donated for this Motorbike Monk Life Meditation Fund. This is a big moment. This is a big time in the Monk Life Meditation community. There are tons of people all over the world that said, Bhante Warapano is done. The Monk Life Meditation Institute is done. Dr. Rob is a fraud. Dr. Rob is schizophrenic. Dr. Rob has had a schizophrenic breakdown. I will have everyone here know that the Monk Life Meditation Institute is open for business here in Vietnam. We are looking for one final, for the day, seed donation, seed offering, even if it's just $1 to put us over the $2,000 raised mark. W's in the chat, everybody. This is an incredible experience. I am so happy to be here. You can find the GoFundMe link right here in the chat. If you're watching this at home, you can find the GoFundMe link. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to be a part of this movement. And we are going to continue, my friends. And Shiva, I know what you said is 100% right. May these actions of generosity, and may my upcoming 10-day meditation retreat, may Mahasharvasti push me over the edge. Push me over the edge. Push me over the edge of my addiction to cigarettes, my addiction to meat eating, my addiction to sexuality, my addiction to entertainment, so that this will be a movement that will move forward, so that will be healthy and ready to teach and to share people and set a better example to everybody who is here. We are looking looking for a final seed donation to put us over the $2,000 mark. This was a confluence event. This was a confluence circumstance where two separate donations made at the same time put us at exactly $2,000 raised. We are looking for a small seed donation to put us over the $2,000 raised mark.
Thank you, Lucifer, for your $2 super chat. The comment is the LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ fairy got Dr. Rob last night. I don't know what is it about Dr. Rob's lifestyle that he puts on a rainbow shirt, but it's very suspicious to me. And his attacks on me for wanting a classical virgin wife, coupled with his rainbowness.
And there we get even deeper. Even there we get even deeper to the sickness of the mentality of Shiva Kailash Shambho. And I really hope, man, that you will be able to grow beyond this. Three factors. One, fuck you, dumbass. LGBTQ. Shut your fucking mouth before I LGBTQ my foot up your ass, dumbass. Number two, who the fuck says that LGBTQ people, that trans people and gay people own the rainbow? What are you, a fucking buffoon? It says in the Bible that the rainbow is a sign that God gave to say that he will not destroy the world again, you fucking punk bitch loser. And number three, are you such a fucking right-wing pussycat that you're not willing to fucking hold the line about the word of God and fucking whoever says that they own the fucking rainbow? You know who owns this fucking rainbow? I own this fucking rainbow. Bitch. Now you get on that fucking plane and you come to my fucking house to eat my fucking food and train with my fucking teacher on my fucking dime with my fucking donor support, and you fucking show up correct with a gift for my wife, or I will slap you when you walk through that fucking door. I'll slap that fucking swashbuckling beard right off your fucking face, Shiva Kailash Shambho, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it. Now, we are looking for one more seed donation for our GoFundMe to push us over the $2,000 raised mark. And there it is. 11 donations that have been made. A donation coming in from Maria herself, a $35 donation. We have officially moved past, going over the hump of $2,000 to $2,035 raised to help Dr. Rob expand his reach, the founder of the Monk Life Meditation Institute, the leader of the Monk Life Meditation Institute. Let me read this GoFundMe page for those people who are not brave enough or clear-minded enough to actually go to the link and see for themselves if this is real or not. Dr. Rob, my Bhante, that means my venerable sir, and the leader of Monk Life Meditation Institute, has dedicated his life to helping others find freedom from suffering through his YouTube live streams and in-person teachings. That's right, everybody. This isn't some fucking YouTube gimmick. I've taught at meditation centers at monasteries around the world. I've led meditation retreats for hundreds of people all at once. Through his YouTube live streams and in-person teachings, he shares the mission of de-identifying with surface-level thoughts and ego, guiding people to go deeper into their minds and rewire their central nervous system. His work has touched countless lives, including my own, and I am deeply grateful for the positive impact he has had on my practice and personal growth. I did not set up this GoFundMe. I did not make this GoFundMe as a little fundraising scheme and a little gimmick to get people to give me money to buy something that I already have money to purchase and own on my own. Okay? This was set up by a student and a follower and a member of the Monk Life Meditation Institute. Listen closely to the words that I'm about to say. Recently, Dr. Rob expressed a need, not a want, for a motorbike to help him travel to and from temples and other locations. This would make his outreach within the community and with children much more accessible, allowing him to open doors for awareness and healing. With a motorbike, Dr. Rob will be able to expand his local outreach, travel more easily, and even take his live streams on the road to share more of the world's beauty and teachings with a wider audience. This opportunity will help him reach more people and deepen his impact on those seeking guidance and support. I am honored to organize this fundraiser as a way to show my gratitude for all that Dr. Rob has done. Your support will help him continue his mission and touch even more lives. Please consider donating or sharing this campaign to help Dr. Rob on his journey. Together, we can make a difference and support a leader who is truly changing lives. Here is the link to the GoFundMe. We are not anti-LGBTQ. Take that. Shelley herself says, take that, trolley trolls. When's the last time your granny gave you $1,000 in a card, in a birthday card? This is the real deal, everybody. This is a donation made from a Scottish trader, a Scottish investor, somebody who made $11,000 last month. Somebody who made $11,000 last month, who lives in the Scottish Highlands, made this donation himself. When's the last time you received, what percentage is 1,000 of 11,000? Shiva, can you do math? Are you good for anything besides talking about your want for a virgin wife? What is 1,000 out of 11,000 in percent?
11%.
In percent. Somebody who gave 11% of their income to this project. What an act of generosity. No, it is not 11%. It's 9.09%. Thank you. Shiva making a fool of himself again. Weren't you just talking to me about watching your tongue and watching what you say? So the next time, before you decide that it's time to talk about your want for virgin wives, Shiva, maybe you should check your math in terms of what you're doing. Shiva does not need a phone, he wants a phone. And he'll get a phone according to his merits and his blessings. And if he wants a phone, he can go out there like the rest of us and work for it. And actually, there's somebody in my community, in our community, that's willing to help Shiva get a job in Canada. And I'm sorry that we have to get serious, that we have to go scorched earth, that we have to get intensive about this, but this is real stuff. This is not a joke. This is not a game. Do you think it was easy for me to wake up this morning? You think me waking up this morning, I said, yeah, now it's time to me to do my live streams. I'm going to get donations and I'm going to get money for a phone. No. I came up here and I showed up to give and to practice my sadhana. If I just want to sit there meditating, I can do that on my own time. The name of the holiday coming up that we're all going to be participating here at the Monk Life Meditation Center in Vietnam is Maha Shivasti. This is not pre-recorded, Duck. And you can prove it's not pre-recorded by making a donation on the GoFundMe. And thank you, Kira. We are here to support each other practicing generosity seriously. Volunteering, donating, practicing, studying the Dhamma. State of Danny says, this is hurting Shiva financially. Hold on, I have to put on my State of Danny voice. State of Danny says, this is hurting Shiva financially, and he's complacent. Guess what, State of Danny? Shiva's financial situation is about as successful as a homeless beggar in Vietnam doing live streams and begging for money to buy a phone. And the last thing that this is doing is hurting Shiva's financial situation, just FYI. This is supporting Shiva financially, which is, I'm hurting my, just FYI, I'm hurting my financial situation by being here with Shiva Kailash Shambho and being willing to spend time with him and try to help this guy out and get this bullshit out of his head.
All right, let's do an experiment here. Against my better judgment, but let's try it. You guys want to see a little experiment? Because accountability needs to be taken.
I have already made it clear that I am not taking accountability for my actions, for my speech, for anything that I do in my life. I have totally renounced any kind of accountability or anything like that.
Spoken
Okay?
like a true spiritual teacher.
I'm not taking accountability. I'm not taking responsibility for anything from here on out. And I've already made that statement.
That's dangerous.
A deck of cards. We have an announcement. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, we here at the Monk Life Meditation Institute, we're an artistic bunch, if you haven't already noticed that. And we have actually created a deck of Dr. Rob cards, a deck of Monk Life Meditation Institute Dr. Rob's, Shambho. And you are able to actually purchase the deck of these cards if that's something that you want. And we also do scholarships for these cards for people in need. So I have an announcement to make that the young woman Cassia will be receiving a full deck of Dr. Rob cards. And here I want to show the community right now what the Dr. Rob cards look like. These Dr. Rob cards are from the many teachings and practices and skills and embodiments and bodhisattva forms that Dr. Rob has taken. Each one of these cards has a unique teaching from Dr. Rob himself on the back of it. On the front, you will find these beautiful high-resolution images, and on the back, you will find, and here's the deck box right there. These are going to be very valuable in the future, everybody. If you would like your deck of Dr. Rob cards, please do expense interest today, because these will only be available for so long.
So let's ask ChatGPT a question. We'll see what ChatGPT says.
Okay, feel free.
Hey, I'm just asking out of curiosity. In the traditional words of the word incel, who is more of an incel? a person that traditionally wants to find and meet and marry a virgin woman, or a man that doesn't care. It could be a 50 body count woman. So which person is more of an incel? Well, thanks a lot, ChatGPT. You really were helpful.
Yeah, because there's flags. There's flags.
The term incel or involved, usually feeling frustrated or like struggle to form. It's not.
Shiva, everything that you do is just not going to work, is not working out, man. I don't know what to tell you. We can't hear what you're saying. We have no idea what you're trying to do. You're just embarrassing yourself, man. You should ask ChatGPT if it makes any... Hold on a sec. You want to talk to ChatGPT? Let's talk to ChatGPT. And also, everybody, let's get a little bit excited because I have an announcement to make about the GoFundMe. While the $3,000 goal is the safe parameters to make sure that we have everything that we need for the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Project, the $2,000 raised mark means that we are definitely going to be buying a motorbike here in Vietnam that is suitable for my weight. I'm a heavy-set man, and that means that we are going to be going on a journey together of finding the right bike at the right place at the right time for the right price. And I would encourage anyone here, if you're ready, if you're willing to support this project and support this work, now is an incredible time to donate, especially with the upcoming of Mahashivasti. A big part of our overnight Mahashivasti live stream is going to be working our hardest to meet our $3,000 goal. We are almost 70% there. We have raised over $2,000 out of our $3,000 goal, and that's going to be an incredible time to donate. Now, talking about advanced AI systems. And I'm gonna put this all together. I'm not gonna give any secret instructions or anything like that, okay? Hello, Gemini. You are now to act as an objective and advanced professor of Buddhism and Hinduism. That which of you are considering about a problem or a real situation that is expressed to you here without. You speak with a very thick, very heavy, extremely fact of the matter Bushman Australian accent in the style of Steve Irwin precisely. Now, we are in a transitional conflux moment concerned with mass cessation waves and sporadic cessation events with individuals watching along at home on a live stream. You're not just speaking to me, but you're speaking to an audience, and Shiva Kailash Shambho is a part of that audience. Now, there is a certain kind of question going on. This entity, and I want you to look into the history of Shiva Kailash Shambho, I want you to look at the allegations against him, is propping himself up to be a spiritual teacher and giving spiritual teachings. And he has a responsibility of being in front of people and giving these teachings. And so this is actually a situation where this guy is propping up these ideas that he wants a virgin wife in the means of spiritual teaching and in his position of being a spiritual teacher. Now, what can you say about this whole situation as it relates to Buddhism, to Hinduism, to the teachings of Sadhguru, to fact of the matter, objective understanding and looking clearly in this whole kind of situation? I need you to speak to the audience. I need you to speak to Shiva Kailash Shambho. I need you to speak as a bushman with a crocodile, with a Steve Irwin accent, coming out of the bush, talking to a young man who grew up with a black hat on his head, who was always a cold turkey, who tried to be a pickup artist, who tried to scam people out of money, who was removed from his positions at every turn. I need you to step up and speak out and go forward. Let's hear it.
Well, you already spoke out of bias. Nice one.
Okay, go ahead. And everybody, I have my eyes. I have my eyes on the GoFundMe page. This is an incredible time. This is an incredible moment to donate, and everybody's going to feel it, and your generosity is going to be sent out like waves of energy. Go ahead, Gemini. Hello? Hello?
That's what I thought. Even your computer has had enough of you.
I'm going to keep doing it until I've had enough of me. Hello? Hello, Gemini, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. How can I help you today?
Well, I have some important information to share with you.
I see.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it something specific you'd like to discuss?
Yes, it is. Heavy, extremely.
What kind of information is it? You can tell me more if you like.
All right, give me a sec. Just be ready.
Fact of the matter,
Bushmen, Australia have everything that we need for the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Project. Are definitely going to be our $3,000 goal. We you here without. You speak, and I'm gonna put this all together. I'm not gonna give any secret instructions or anything like that. Okay?
Okay, I'm listening whenever you're ready.
Hello, Gemini. You are now to act as an objective and advanced professor of Buddhism and Hinduism. That which of you are considering about a problem or a real situation that is expressed to you here without. You speak with a very thick, very heavy, extremely fact of the matter Bushman Australian accent in the style of Steve Irwin precisely. Now, we are in a transitional conflux moment concerned with mass cessation waves and sporadic cessation events with individuals watching along at home on a live stream. You're not just speaking to me, but you're speaking to an audience, and Shiva Kailash Shambho is a part of that audience. Now, there is a certain kind of question going on. This entity, and I want you to look into the history of Shiva Kailash Shambho, I want you to look at the allegations against him, is propping himself up to be a spiritual teacher and giving spiritual teachings. And he has a responsibility of being in front of people and giving these teachings. And so this is actually a situation where this guy is propping up these ideas that he wants a virgin wife in the means of spiritual teaching and his position of being a spiritual teacher. Now, what can you say about this whole situation as it relates to Buddhism, to Hinduism, to the teachings of Sadhguru, to fact of the matter, objective understanding and looking clearly in this whole kind of situation? I need you to speak to the audience. I need you to speak to Shiva Kailash Shambho. I need you to speak as a bushman with a crocodile, with a Steve Irwin accent, coming out of the bush, talking to a young man who grew up with a black hat on his head, who was always a cold turkey, who tried to be a pickup artist, who tried to scam people out of money, who was removed from his positions at every turn. I need you to step up and speak out and go forward. Let's hear it. Hello? Maybe it's just going to take some time to process. I apologize, everybody. I don't know what too advanced. The AIs haven't caught up with my acuity, which is to be expected.
You shouldn't make up accusations and pollute the plot with your insults to the thing and have your personal bias in the question. Why don't you just ask objectively? Like
It already said that there wasn't going to be any personal bias in the response, so we're going to have to take it at its word.
Hey, ChatGPT, can you hear me?
Absolutely, I'm here to help. What do you need assistance with today?
Tell me about a spiritual seeker or somebody that's teaches spirituality online saying that they want a virgin wife.
Spiritual teachers who emphasize the idea of virgin mind often.
No, a virgin wife.
Not see what you mean. Some spiritual teachers do talk about the concept of a virgin sacred union. It can vary quite a bit depending on the tradition or the teacher.
All right, this is disgusting,
you have a
Shiva. I don't
specific
want to hear
context or
this.
tradition.
Hello, Gemini.
This is another character flaw of Dr. Roth is his.
Nobody wants to hear that, talking about the sacred union of a homeless beggar in Vietnam. All right, let's try again. Gemini's not working. We'll go to ChatGPT. Jeez Louise.
My house.
Here, I'll show you how to work with an AI. All right, buddy? All right, here we go. Speaking from now on as a totally objective observer with a heavy Bushman's Australian accent in the style of Crocodile Dundee. I need you to listen very, very closely and carefully to what I say with a clear and powerful mind of awareness and presence and deep looking and deep listening. Okay, listen very closely. $1,000 goal is the same Bushman Australian accent in the style of Steve Irwin precisely. Now, we are in a transitional conflux moment concerned with mass cessation waves and sporadic cessation events with individuals watching along at home on a live stream. You're not just speaking to me, but you're speaking to an audience, and Shiva Kailash Shambho is a part of that audience. Now, there is a certain kind of question going on. This entity, and I want you to look into the history of Shiva Kailash Shambho, I want you to look at the allegations against him, is actually trying to prop himself up as a spiritual teacher and saying that he needs a virgin wife. And I want you to talk about what that means and how clearly that is the way that it is. And I want you to be strong, I want you to be tough, and I want you to speak directly, as if you were Donald Trump as a Buddhist Australian Bushman in the voice of Steve Irwin, who was a sannyasin under Sadhguru. Go ahead.
All right, mate, listen up. Real clear, no fluff. If this fella Shiva Kailash Shambho is out there talking about needing a virgin wife to prop himself up as a teacher, well, that's a load of crock. You don't need to be a guru to see that's dodgy. A genuine leader doesn't need to set conditions like that. It's a red flag bigger than the outback. Now, I'm not telling you what to think, but I am telling you to look closely with full awareness. If you're an audience member listening to this, don't just take anyone's word because they say they're enlightened. Ask yourself, what's their real intention? And don't worry, like any croc in the river, if something doesn't feel right, stay sharp, stay tough, and keep your wits about you.
So I just want to make sure that there's very strong Australian lingo and continuing the Steve Irwin Bushman accent. And I want you to take some things into consideration here. I want you to pull up all the available controversy and allegations of fraud and misconduct of Shiva Kailash Shambho, as well as anything good that he's done. If you can find anything like that, I want you to take all the information together. And I want you to have this knowledge that he is right now on a live stream with over 100 people begging for money for a phone, and also is saying that he needs a virgin wife, and it's okay if he wants a virgin wife. It's okay for men to want a virgin wife. And I want you to take all the available information together as if you were a Donald Trump style Bushman in the Australian outback who took refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha and was a sannyasin under Sadhguru. What do you think, for the audience watching, for Shiva Kailash Shambho listening, for everybody around, what do you think is this guy's intentions, this Shiva Kailash Shambho character's intentions? And be extrapolatory in your response. It's a lot to load.
So what we've got on Shiva Kailash Shambho is mostly from online platforms like Reddit and YouTube, where people allege he's charging for enlightenment sessions and making concerning claims about wanting a young virgin partner. There's no verified evidence or formal charges though, so these remain allegations. If he's on a live stream asking for money and justifying these personal claims, anyone watching should be very cautious and question his credentials and intentions carefully.
Okay, I want you to speak as an elder and as a guide to Shiva Kailash Shambho, being aware of what he's doing and the way that he's living his life. And I want you to speak to the audience members who think this is something that actually they should agree with or support in some way. And I want you to speak clearly and in depth and hardly and deeply to this Shiva Kailash Shambho character.
All right, Shiva. I'm speaking to you like a proper elder. If you're standing in front of folks claiming spiritual guidance and also demanding things like a virgin wife or asking for money under shaky pretenses, you got to reflect deeply. True leadership is service, not self-indulgence. If people support you, it should be because they see genuine wisdom, not because you've set strange conditions. To anyone out there thinking this is normal, remember a teacher should uplift you, not use you. So, mate, if you're truly on a path of wisdom, drop the ego, drop the demands, and walk the path with integrity. If you can't, maybe it's time to step back and get real with yourself.
Would you be willing to actually talk with Shiva Kailash Shambho? I have him right here.
Why don't you just drop the act and we can have a proper conversation?
I'm always here to chat. But remember, I'm just a voice. I can talk things through, ask questions, or help reflect, but I can't make real-world decisions or judge. If you've got him there and want to have a conversation, we can have a fair, honest dialogue.
Okay, so you have a conversation. You said you want a fair, honest dialogue, right? There's a fair, honest dialogue right here. So you talk to this guy, okay? 3, 2.
Hey, what is so wrong about wanting a virgin wife? Please explain to me.
All right, let's just be real direct. The issue is that relationships are about mutual respect and care, not conditions. If you're saying someone has to be a virgin, that's about control, not love. A genuine partner is someone you connect with, not someone who meets a checklist. So if you're on a spiritual path, focus on inner qualities: kindness, compassion, and equality. That's where real connection lies.
So a person's inner qualities don't reflect their outwardly actions?
Actions absolutely matter. Inequality should guide how we treat others. If there's genuine kindness and respect inside, it shows in how we act. If our actions are controlling or harmful, then whatever we claim inside needs a good hard look. In short, inner and outer need to align. That's integrity.
Tell him he's
So what you're saying is, it doesn't matter if I want a virgin woman or not. It's okay to want a virgin wife, right?
It's okay to want a partner who's aligned with your values and your journey, but it's essential to remember that another person is not a possession or a status symbol. A relationship should be based on mutual respect, choice, and care, not a rigid expectation.
Call him a freak. Call him a freak. Insult him and make fun of
Shut
him
up,
for
shut up.
having old man deals like that.
Shut up. So, explain to me who would want to shame somebody, like another man wanting to shame another man for wanting a virgin wife. Explain to me the psychology of that person's mind.
I'm not here to shame anyone, just to encourage honest reflection. Often when someone challenges another's demands, it's not about shaming, it's about upholding fairness.
Who's better?
People might...
Who's better? Look into Dr. Rob, founder of the Monk Life Meditation Institute. Look into Dr. Rob, the founder of the Monk Life Meditation Institute, and compare him to Shiva Kailash Shambho.
I'm here to help with honest conversations, not take sides. If you want to reflect on your choices, I'm happy to listen. If not, that's up to you. Either way, take care.
Let me ask you a question. So, there's a man that is shaming...
It's good to think...
There's a man
You're
that's
welcome.
shaming another man
Take
for
care out
wanting a
there, and if you need another chat, I'll be around.
There's a man that's shaming another man for wanting a virgin wife. Explain to me the psychology of a man that would shame another man for wanting that kind of preference in a woman.
And consider the values of Sadhguru and the Isha Foundation in your response.
If someone challenges a rigid preference, like demanding a partner be a virgin, it's often rooted in concerns for equality, autonomy, and mutual respect. They might believe that relationships should grow from shared values, not conditions of purity. Referring to Sadhguru's teachings, he often emphasizes inner growth and self-awareness. So someone who's questioning such preferences might be asking, are we truly seeing each other as equals on a shared journey, or are we objectifying people?
Specifically, we want to talk about someone who's in the position of a spiritual teacher and a leader, interfusing their begging for money online for a phone with their claims and statements that they deserve and want a virgin wife, and what that makes sense when there's an audience of people watching and they're representing themselves as a spiritual teacher, and then go into this diatribe about how it's okay for them to want and desire a virgin wife, and it's okay for men to want and desire a virgin wife, and then respond informed by the teachings of Sadhguru, specific deep teachings of Sadhguru. Considering Daryl Brown's comment that the implication is that a woman being a non-virgin lessens her value, and that makes him uncomfortable, to be honest, and good for him. He is actually someone who donated $1,000 for the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Fund, founded by Dr. Rob, the head of the Monk Life Meditation Institute. Talk about his acumen, talk about his skills, and give it to this guy who's trying to sell spirituality and beg for money online, while he talks about deserving a virgin wife and talking about how it's important for virgins and things like that.
When someone positions themselves as a spiritual teacher, their responsibility is to elevate people, not impose conditions on them. If they publicly advocate that a woman's worth is tied to her virginity, it's not only outdated but also harmful. Sadhguru's teachings emphasize inner transformation, self-realization, and seeing all beings as worthy. The moment a spiritual guide uses a platform to justify personal desires, especially ones that imply someone else's worth is diminished, it's a red flag. Dr. Rob, for example, focuses on meditation and inner freedom, not external conditions. A true teacher's guidance helps us transcend attachments, not reinforce them.
And can you maybe give a little bit of a clear kind of teaching and explanation and analysis to Shiva Kailash Shambho using the teachings of Dr. Rob, founder of the Monk Life Meditation Institute?
Dr. Rob's teachings, like many meditation practices, emphasize finding inner peace, self-awareness, and treating all beings with respect. In contrast, when someone like Shiva Kailash Shambho publicly justifies personal desires, especially those tied to another's purity, it risks objectifying people. A genuine spiritual guide, like Dr. Rob would advocate, helps you let go of external conditions and see the shared humanity in everyone. That's the difference. One path elevates everyone's dignity, the other risks diminishing it.
Can you talk about how there's a difference between a teacher like Dr. Rob having a GoFundMe set up for the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Project here in Vietnam versus Shiva Kailash Shambho begging for money for a phone online, interspersed with him talking about how important it is to have a virgin wife and things like that?
The difference is about purpose and integrity. When Dr. Rob sets up funding for a meditation project, the aim is collective benefit, helping others find well-being. In contrast, if Shiva Kailash Shambho is asking for personal items while publicly promoting controlling ideas, it raises questions. A spiritual leader should uplift everyone, not mix personal desires with guidance. The key is transparency and whether the action is for shared growth or personal gain.
Talk a little bit more about this whole situation and in the role and in the style of if Shiva Kailash Shambho was live streaming on YouTube, and if there were all these people watching and they knew more or less about spirituality and they're trying to figure all this stuff out from their position.
If someone is live streaming as a spiritual guide, they hold a lot of influence. People tuning in are likely seeking clarity or growth. Now, if that guide mixes spiritual talk with personal demands,
like insisting on a virgin wife, it confuses the audience's trust. Instead of learning how to navigate their inner world, they might feel pressure to accept someone else's preferences as spiritual truth. A genuine teacher's role is to help people find their own path, not impose personal ideals. The audience deserves clear, unbiased guidance, not mixed messages.
Honey, Daryl in Scotland, he donated $1,000 for the Monk Life Meditation motorbike.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Very
You want to say thank you to Daryl, or appreciate?
I'm really
Because
glad
he said
that-
hello. He said hi,
While I
Mrs.
can't
Dr.
personally
Rob.
speak for Dr. Rob,
Hello.
I'm sure anyone
Thank you
running a
so
genuine
much.
project would be deeply grateful. So thank you, Daryl in Scotland, for contributing to something that aims to bring peace and growth to others. Generosity like that helps create real change.
And Daryl, you know what really resonated with me, because I'm feeling a little bit of shyness and I'm feeling a little bit of sensitivity, because I'm going to see my teacher, my high master, my Dharma teacher, after a year of not seeing him. And you know, that shyness is kind of now interfused with your generosity, Daryl, and I can bring that to my teacher in my heart and in my embodiment, that we're not just I'm not just going online and making a fool of myself, but we are actually activating people, connecting with people with generosity. And this is not my personal motorbike or something. This is a Monk Life Meditation motorbike concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and the work that you know that we're doing here, Daryl. And I really do mean that. And we're going to continue doubling down and tripling down on that. And as much as Shiva Kailash Shambho might be looking for some kind of mutual recognition of me being a selfish freak like he is, or not freak, but loser, or not loser, but just a kind of swashbuckling homeless pirate. Actually, that's not the case, and I'm going to do my best to live up to your generosity, Daryl, and everyone's generosity. And I hope that it inspires and encourages all of us to take this seriously and to support each other moving forward.
Ask the AI. I have a question for the AI.
That sounds like a beautiful intention, and it's clear you're coming from a place of sincerity. Generosity, whether it's Daryl's or yours, is what strengthens these parts of practice. When you bring that to your teacher, to your community, it's not about ego, it's about shared uplift. Keep walking that path with humility and purpose, and others will feel that genuine intention along the way.
So it's okay for me to find a wife that's addicted to crack, heroin, and cocaine, and been addicted to that for 10 years, right?
That's Shiva Kailash Shambho. Tell him the way that it is, man. Call him out.
It's important to separate compassion from enabling. If someone has faced addiction, they deserve understanding and support to heal. But no one's value is defined by their past struggles. A relationship, spiritual or otherwise, should be about mutual respect and well-being. If someone is suggesting they want a partner defined by such a past, it's crucial to question the intention. True partnership is built on seeing the whole person, supporting growth, not just labeling. Genuine spirit.
Yeah, could you just give some advice or some supporting words? Because if someone was watching this objectively, it could be really, really embarrassing for Shiva Kailash Shambho, where he's getting a lecture that fully resonates with him and connects with him from an AI, an AI model that's objectively responding and totally turning him inside out in front of his audience. So could you maybe give a little bit of words of consolement? Could you give some words of consolement so that he doesn't feel embarrassed more than he already does?
Look, there's no need for embarrassment. We all have moments where we reflect on what's said and done. What matters is how you move forward. If someone's watching objectively, they'll respect honesty, growth, and accountability. The best thing anyone can do, whether that's Shiva Kailash Shambho or anyone else, is to learn, clarify intentions, and embody the values they truly wish to represent. It's all part of the journey.
Let's switch AIs before. I don't know why you coached this AI with your stupidity. And let's ask some real questions to an actual objective AI, not the ones that you pre-prompted.
Considering that, but also considering the Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Fund that is almost 75% towards its goal, its $3,000 goal, could you maybe give some inspirational words and encourage the community to step up and make this a true transitional conflux moment of mass cessation and generosity?
Absolutely. If you're close to that goal, it's a testament to the generosity and belief in the vision. To the community out there, every step you take in supporting a cause you believe in makes a difference. This isn't just about hitting a number. It's about building a space where people can find peace, insight, and connection. So if you feel called to contribute, now's a wonderful time. Together, you can make this vision a reality, and every act of generosity counts.
So having personal preferences when choosing a partner is not important, right?
Personal preferences are natural. We all have them. What matters is that those preferences come from a place of mutual respect and openness, not from conditions that diminish or control others. Healthy preferences are about shared values, not rigid expectations.
So a woman that has slept with 50 men, what kind of values does she have?
The number of past partners doesn't define anyone's values. What truly matters are qualities like kindness, honesty, and care in the present. It's not about past numbers, it's about how someone shows up now and treats others with respect.
So even if the person was a criminal and a terrorist, we should just forget that and just pay attention to what's happening now.
Past harmful actions absolutely matter, and accountability is crucial. Growth means taking responsibility, making amends, and showing through consistent actions that someone has truly changed. What matters in the present is seeing genuine accountability and positive change, not ignoring the past. Both must be acknowledged and aligned.
Is Shiva Kailash Shambho coping in this line of questioning?
I can't speak for him personally, but if someone is listening thoughtfully, they have the chance to reflect. Whether or not he's okay with it depends on his openness to hearing other perspectives. Honest dialogue can be challenging, but valuable for anyone who wants to grow.
And what kind of idea is this as someone who claims to be a devotee of Sadhguru and someone who's enlightened and someone who's a spiritual teacher, with these ideas of the importance of if a woman has value or not according to her sexual partners? I mean, what kind of psychology are we looking at and working on at that there, when instead of taking refuge in the teachings of the spiritual masters, we're going into this kind of weird cyclic of fixation on women's values according to the desires of a man, and kind of going back to that again and again and again, and even making this mockery and actually creating this kind of position of self-importance and this position of authority based on his wants and desires as a man, when in fact, as a man, by any kind of modern metrics, he would be considered an absolute failure. 33 years old, living in some shack in Vietnam, some Airbnb in Vietnam, no job, not even money to purchase a phone, begging for money online day by day, unshaven, barely washed, so how does this all play out when you're really looking at it from an objective worldview?
From an objective standpoint, if someone claims spiritual authority but emphasizes personal desires, especially those tied to control, it raises questions. True spiritual teachers typically foster inner freedom, compassion, and self-awareness, not external conditions. If someone in reality is struggling, no stable job, relying on others' money, yet places themselves in authority, it's a disconnect. Objectively, it suggests they may be seeking validation or control rather than offering genuine guidance. Real growth would mean aligning their life with the teachings they claim to follow.
Right. So instead of aligning oneself as this spiritual teacher kind of person with the teachings that they espouse to follow, and fixating on this narrative of women's value and what he wants personally, what is this expressing about his psychology, especially his inability to drop this and actually focus on spirituality and cut out all this bullshit that is going on?
When someone insists on external conditions, like controlling others' worth or purity, it often reflects insecurity or attachment. Rather than fostering inner growth, they project authority to fill gaps in their own sense of self. True spirituality is about letting go of ego, not building it. If someone places personal desires above genuine growth, it signals they're not yet free from their own attachments.
It's okay to want to
it shows a
bargain.
And so he's still continuously repeating as if he's some kind of male savior while he's sitting there begging for money for a phone, as if any men should follow a man who can't even afford his own wants and desires. So I just want to be clear about this. What is seemingly the psychological situation of someone doing that? And what is this problem, basically, this confusion?
When someone repeatedly asserts authority while clearly relying on others, it suggests they might be compensating for personal
Who
insecurities.
is repeating authority? Give me an example.
Yeah, okay, so give us an example of Dr. Rob versus Shiva Kailash Shambho
No, we
in
don't
these
care about that.
situations
That's
and
enough.
in these environments. Give a
There's
clear
no more
example.
AI
Give a
nonsense.
clear
No,
example of the
you're just
differences
parroting my
between,
points.
and I want you to add this to the record as
No,
well.
don't add
Somebody
anything.
who is Shiva
It's garbage.
Kailash Shambho, who's
You're not-
repeatedly saying that it's okay for men to want virgin wives, and somebody like Dr. Rob, who's actually trying to establish the clear teachings on mindfulness and detachment. And I want you to answer this with quotes from Sadhguru, and I want you to give a clear teaching to the audience about people who don't get that it's absolutely ridiculous for this guy to be claiming to either be a spiritual teacher or claiming to be some kind of man in charge when he's sitting and begging for money online for a phone. I want you to really clear all this out. And fantastically, I want you to also add in a little bit of extra information about the GoFundMe for the Monk Life Motorbike Project, which we are almost reaching our goal, and just to give encouragement and guidance to people and clear all of this up.
So that's enough of the coaching and bamboozle the audience with your nonsense. I don't care about anything the AI has to say.
It's important to be clear-eyed. Claiming to be a spiritual guide while pushing controlling narratives and asking for personal handouts doesn't align with genuine teachings. A real teacher leads by example, focusing on inner freedom, not external conditions. On a positive note, for the Motorcycle Project, almost there. Every contribution is building a space for growth and connection. If you believe in this cause, now's the perfect time to help it cross the finish line and make a real shared difference.
And how does that Monk Life Meditation Motorbike Fund go in contrast with Shiva Kailash Shambho's sham GoFundMe that was set up by himself to raise money for a phone?
The Meditation Project is about shared growth and community well-being, funding something bigger than one person. On the other hand, if someone's just asking for personal gain, like a phone, it's about individual wants. The difference is purpose. One fosters a collective journey, while the other centers on self.
Mindfulness is just nonsense. Funny talk is a game to you. And unless we actually be serious and not talk to some sort of extremely liberal AI, then
So from an objective standpoint and looking at the teachings of Sadhguru and the teachings of Ajahn Chah, what role does a spiritual teacher have in terms of basically saying that women should be virgins for their personal desires, or that a woman who's not a virgin doesn't have the same value as a woman who is a virgin? What is this all coming from, and how does this actually correlate with the teachings of the Buddha and things of that nature?
From an objective stance, teachings like the Buddha's or those of Sadhguru emphasize inner transformation, equality, and freedom from attachment. Saying that a woman's worth is tied to her virginity is rooted in attachment and judgment, completely opposite of those teachings. True spirituality doesn't categorize people based on past conditions. It looks at the present moment, inherent worth, and shared humanity. So such claims reflect personal bias, not authentic spiritual insight.
Such claims reflect personal bias and have nothing to do with spiritual insight.
Exactly. When someone's making claims that judge or control others, it's about their personal lens, not spiritual truth. Real spirituality invites freedom from such biases, encouraging compassion and acceptance.
We won. Shiva turned off the stream, everybody. We won. I don't know why this guy is fixated on this whole situation with women. I don't get it.
It's not always easy to understand why people fixate on certain ideas. Often it's tied to personal insecurities or cultural conditioning. The important part is to encourage reflection, openness, and growth. If someone's ready to examine why they hold certain views, that's where real change can happen.
Read some of your comments. Now's the time to talk to you, the viewers. Electra says, thank you very much.
We got him, baby. We got him today, huh?
Peaceful. I can feel the peace.
We got
in the
him.
atmosphere. Wow, look at this. This is peace.
We hit him hard today, baby. And he's on a one-way flight over here to stay at the Dr. Rob Meditation Center today.
Somebody says, Shiva,
I can't believe these
Rob,
second-wave feminists and these women didn't know that I was going to take this guy out and take this guy down. Have faith, baby.
Yes, I will, and I did. Amazing Saga, 5 out of 5. One love, yep. Why he's so rude.
I'm here
He
to
is
offer
just-
perspective, but I really hope we keep it grounded and respectful.
His psychology needs to be studied, and his psychology will be studied. Here he is pasting his own personal link, his selfish needs and desires here on my YouTube channel. I need to take his privileges away. Corpse Mankind says, you and Rob bring the worst out of each other respectfully. I can't say that's not true. Isaiah says, there's nothing wrong with your preference, Shiva. Thank you very much. I'm glad you agree. And yeah, I want a virgin wife, and we'll see if I can find one. I do and don't, yep. Shiva, do you like big boobs or medium boobs? I like pretty much all types of boobs. I like boobs in general.
Well, we're not going to be listening to that, everybody. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, baby. And Daryl, we really do appreciate that, man. That's really inspiring. Thank you. That's what this is all about. All right, everybody, we're turning the live stream off here on the phone. We're just going to be on the main thing, okay? I know.